evening, everyone, and welcome to the 25th Annual Kingswood Turnaround Achievement Award Ceremony. How time flies. I bet you more than anyone can't believe it's been 25 years. And a very, very special welcome to those of you who grace a seat in our audience year after year as I look towards the right. But we will not name names for tonight. I'm not surprised. This has become the go-to event in Fredericton. My name is Rose Arsenault, and I am totally honored to be your MC for tonight's ceremony. First things first, let me check. Yep, I have my box of Kleenex. You laugh, but I tell you, I've needed it every year, and it's not to say this isn't a feel-good event. It is a feel-good event, but it gets rather emotional, and you'll get to see and hear what I mean a little bit later out through the evening. So, how is everyone feeling tonight? Scale of 1 to 10? Oh, we got an 11 out there. I like that. Anyone feeling a little less than 11? No, sir. Well, if you are feeling good now, I guarantee you're going to feel amazing at the end of this night. It just has that effect on people. So if everyone could just please take their seats, remain seated as our Kingswood Turnaround Achievement Award recipients for 2019 make their way to the front of the stage with me. Indeed, a worthy round of applause for our 2019 Kingswood Turnaround Achievement Award recipients. Congratulations to each and every one of you. Tonight is your night, and we are here to celebrate your success. You will take your rightful place on this stage again later tonight, but for now, I invite you to join your family and friends and make yourselves comfortable in your seat. So we'll see you up here when I call on you a little bit later this evening. So if you want to make your seat, ready to your seats, that'd be great. That a larger contingent than normal, I think. That's quite an impressive group of students. Awesome. Now I would ask everyone to please stand for the singing of O Canada. roster of special guests with us tonight. Please hold your applause until I introduce all of them, and I duly apologize if Some names I mention are not here, and some of you are here and I don't mention your name, more importantly. But Matt DeCourcy, I know, is in the audience. I had the pleasure of speaking with him earlier this evening. Matt, Member of Parliament for Fredericton, thank you for being with us tonight. I appreciate it. The Honourable Dominic Carty, Minister of Education and Early Childhood Development. Thank you so much, Dominic. I know I saw you in the room. There you are, right there. And the Honourable Jeff Carr, Minister of Environment and Local Government. The Honourable Mary Wilson, Minister of Economic Development and Small Business, responsible for Opportunities New Brunswick. The Honourable Carl Urquhart, Minister of Public Safety. The Honourable Ross Wetmore, Minister of Agriculture, Aquaculture and Fisheries. The Honourable David Kuhn, the leader of the Green Party. The Honourable Chris Austin, leader of the People's Alliance Party. His Worship Mike O'Brien, Mayor, City of Fredericton. Pam Lynch, representing the Honourable Greg Thompson, Minister responsible for Intergovernmental Affairs. Chief Alan Polchis, I don't believe is here, from St. Mary's First Nation. And Eddie Campbell, President of UNB. Eddie, I want to send out some congratulations. I understand you're retiring as President of UNB in June. You're pending retirement, so congratulations to you. Ed Casey, former Turnaround Awards Chairman. Dr. Russell King, Chairman of Portage Atlantic, and Carol Tracy, Director of Development, Portage Atlantic. I have to say that we are especially thankful to have you folks in the audience tonight, because there were several positive mentions about Portage last year. You were the buzz in the audience, and it was evident to know why. The stories were powerful, and we're going to hear more powerful stories and learn about all of the good work that Portage does in New Brunswick. From the Fredericton Community Foundation, again, another exceptional foundation. And here representing the Fredericton Community Foundation, Richard Tingley and Andy Clark and Jody Michelle and Richard McGuigan. So thank you guys very much for being here in abundance. Angela Aquin. Angela, you're so wonderful to be here every year. Now, Angela was one of our very first recipients, going way back 25 years, for our first ever Turnaround Achievement Award ceremonies. And she is now working at Leo Hayes Hut, Devon Park. Oh, have you changed? Devon Middle, yes. They do that every year, and I went back to last year's school and got it wrong again. Devon Middle School as a First Nations educational support worker. I can just imagine how effective you are in that job. So I hope that you stay there for a long time, because that's where you belong. And Catherine Blaney, Acting Superintendent of Anglophone West School District. And also Brian Johnson, the President of Kingswood. I'm not saying a lot about Brian right now, but I sure will later on tonight. Washrooms are located just out the back doors. Both the men and the women's just turn right, and they're right there. Feel free to come up and take pictures, but we do ask that you crouch down so that you don't block the people's view behind you. And lastly, if you have your cell phones on, if you could please turn them off. Thank you so very much. And some thank yous, some very heartfelt thank yous. Thank you to all the media who are here to cover our event, and for the pre and post media coverage. Notably, the interviews on CBC Radio. How many of you heard the interview this morning and didn't tear up? I did. How many of you heard the interview this morning with Tatiana Cote? Powerful, powerful interview. Yes, must be her table back there. And an interview with Braden Colford is scheduled for tomorrow at 7:40 on CBC, and a story about Skylar Lowenberg appeared in yesterday's Daily Gleaner. So if you have an opportunity to grab that Gleaner, then I suspect that you will enjoy reading that story. Thank you to the Kingswood Turnaround Achievement Awards Committee for all their hard work in organizing this event. Now, since this is our 25th year, I'm going to ask each member to come up and join me on stage as I announce their names, so that we can duly recognize you and your hard work. Now, I've tried this in the past. They don't even stand up and be recognized, so the fact that I'm calling them up here, surely to goodness they will come forward. Starting with Gary DePaulo, Amanda Murphy, Linda Dempsey Nicholson, Trip Lewis, Alex Trask. It takes a small army to organize an event of this nature. Heather Zilbert, Laura McKenzie, Jeff Johnson and Jen Johnson, Marty Forsythe, Kim Ryu, and of course, Brian Johnson. This is your Turnaround Achievement Award organizing committee, who do an exceptional job year in, year out. I believe they start organizing for next year the day after. So congratulations. This round of applause is for you. Well deserved. Absolutely. You know, an event of this caliber doesn't happen overnight. We appreciate all that you've put into this event to make it such a yearly success. And you never fail. You come through every year, and I get lots of support. The words come out of my mouth, but really a lot of the stuff that I'm given is provided by one or several of my committee members who are behind me. So thank you guys very, very, very much. So, and last but certainly not least, thank you to the parents, to the grandparents, to the guardians, to the teachers, to the guidance counselors for helping make this night possible. I'm going to stop right here because you are the guardian angels among us. Now, according to Wikipedia, a guardian angel is an angel assigned to protect and guide a particular person. You play the most important role relative to this night of celebration. You are the ones who stand watch over our kids outside of any limelight. Well, tonight we want to shine the light on you. Please stand, every parent, every grandparent, every guardian, every teacher, every guidance counselor, our guardian angels, anyone who has played a role in the turning around of a life. That is no small achievement. So this round of applause is for you as you all stand and be recognized. You deserve it. Don't be shy. Absolutely. Those are our guardian angels in the room. Remarkable. Remarkable. Thank you so much. So please sit back and enjoy a short video that highlights just some moments from past Kingswood Turnaround Achievement Award ceremonies. There is such a tribute to the kids who are receiving these awards. They have turned their lives around dramatically from some experiences that we would never imagine in our own lives.
I think they're doing an amazing thing. It shows that that there is somebody out there who actually cares about good people and people who are trying to be good and trying to make their own way. It really helps.
On a given afternoon 20 years ago, two gentlemen came into my office to talk about this new initiative that they experienced in Florida. So Ernie McFadgen and Brian Johnson were so excited about this Turnaround Achievement Award program that they wanted to introduce it to the school district.
It was because of these inspirational stories of students that have had very difficult times and have turned their lives around. And so that was extremely moving. They were helping kids of many varieties get recognized for turning their lives around, kids that were going down the wrong path, and we just thought that would be a wonderful thing for this community.
I not really made a complete turnaround so far. I've just kind of, not moved.
Every celebration that I've attended to see the pride, not only in the students but in their parents and families, to me that's such a boost of confidence that can help propel them into bigger and better things, not only in future years at school, but also after they've finished high school.
My name is Angie Aquin. I first got involved 20 years ago when I was one of the first recipients of the Turnaround Achievement Award.
She came over to me and she told me she was a first-year recipient and remembered it well and how important it was for her, and now she's a counselor in the school system here in Fredericton. And so we both were in tears and hugged, and that's how important it is to them.
And for someone to actually get to the point where they can say, I am not going to continue on the road that I've been. I'm going to turn my life around. and I'm going to start down the road that I need to be on. That's a tremendous decision, and that young man or woman needs all the support and all the encouragement we can give, because they deserve so much credit.
I just really had some hard times, and these guys have been there through the whole thing, and without them, I don't think I'd be up here today. So just thank you guys. I love you guys all.
There are a lot of times when teachers don't get the recognition they deserve, and this is one example where we have a chance to really celebrate some of the great professionals that we have in our system.
I think anyone, especially anyone who has ever volunteered, wants to make a difference. And when you can make a difference in the life of another human being, you want to step up to the plate. And that's exactly what Kingswood has done.
You've learned a lot in the turnaround you've gone through, and to pay it forward and help others, because at the end of the day, helping others could be the greatest legacy of your life.
It's not even for the recognition. You know what? They see the difference that it's made in their staff, in their classmate, and they want to have the same change in their life. And wouldn't you?
If I hadn't been able to turn it around, I'm scared I would have been one of those statistic First Nation women. And now I've broken through a lot of those barriers, and I've been able to stand tall and be proud. And I couldn't imagine life without it being like it is now.
Well said. So I hinted that this night would be emotional, and I think that video gives you a slight indication of the emotion that we will all feel here tonight. And it will be very special. I did also want to mention, Angie, not only do you appear in that video, but you're also featured in the Faces of New Brunswick book by Keith Minchin. I keep prodding Keith to bring his book and display it, because there's so many people, many of whom are probably in this audience, who are featured in his wonderful book. And he's just not a self-promoter, but I'll promote you. We'll bring your book next year. But Angie, congratulations again on all of your successes. We're really proud of you, and we're proud of all of the students in this room tonight who have turned their lives around. So right now, it gives me great pleasure to welcome the Honorable Dominic Carty, Minister of Education and Early Childhood Development, who is bringing greetings on behalf of the Government of New Brunswick. Dominic.
Thank you very much. And it's an incredible honor to be able to be here this evening and to be able to bring greetings on behalf of the Government of New Brunswick, on behalf of Premier Blaine Higgs, several of my cabinet colleagues and MLAs and folks from other parties here as well, because this is clearly much more than a partisan issue. This is about all New Brunswick. That we sit here, we talk about people turning their lives around. It's got to be the hardest thing that you can do. As education minister, I get letters daily from people who excel in the school system, people who are just passing through, doing just fine, will go on to have lives that are just fine. And I talk to folks who are struggling. And I talk to the families of folks who are struggling. And I think in the end, if our system is able to honor the folks who are in this room tonight, who've managed to go through more difficulties, in some cases in the first years of your lives, than many people have to face in the entirety of the long lives that most of us who live in New Brunswick are blessed to be able to live, I think that would be when we can truly say that our education system is being successful. And to the parents and the guardians and the teachers, the folks inside the system and outside it, who stepped up, as was mentioned, and went to bat for students who needed that extra helping hand, who were there when the structures of our system and government perhaps weren't there as they should have been. Thank you to you. And I hope that as the person in charge of our education system for however long a chance I get, that we'll be able to honor the commitment that you've made in the past, and the commitment and the sacrifices and the successes that the award recipients we're going to be honoring here this evening have made over the last little while, and be able to say in a few years' time that we listened to the lessons that you had to go through, and we learned from them, and we made sure that in the future those obstacles that you had to face maybe were made a little bit easier to overcome, and that we put structures in place, whether it was around mental health supports, extra counseling, all those sorts of supports that can make the difference between being a little bit easier to get through school and a little bit harder, that we took some positive action to be able to make that system work just a little bit better. This is an evening to be listening to the stories of some exceptional New Brunswickers. I'm just looking forward to being able to listen, to be inspired, and I hope to be able to take action on your part as Education Minister in the next little while. Thank you for the honor of being here tonight. Again, on behalf of the province of New Brunswick, congratulations to tonight's award recipients. This night is everything that makes New Brunswick a fantastic place to live. Thank you so much.
I've always said, Minister, that if I ever did decide to run for politics, I would be after your job. Either that or a teacher. I kind of regret my decision not to have become a teacher because you do make such a difference in the lives of people, and there's no better career as far as I'm concerned. So as I mentioned, this is getting to be a very prestigious event, as you could probably tell when I read the very lengthy list of special guests. So we're very pleased to have our Member of Parliament, Matt DeCourcy, with us tonight. And I invite Mr. DeCourcy to bring greetings on behalf of the Government of Canada.
Thank you very much, Rose, et merci beaucoup à tous qui sont venus pour célébrer les 20 jeunes qui vont être honorés plus tard ce soir. C'est un honneur de se joindre à vous. I want to begin by acknowledging that we are here on unsurrendered and unceded Wolastoqey land, and I want to honor the long-term commitment of someone like Angie, who has taken the third part of the motto of the Turnaround Achievement Awards and turned it into a commitment to do right by this community. And I think there's a lesson in there to all the young people in this room. And I want to speak to you first and foremost. The first word up above me is effort. Just recently, Willie O'Ree, a Canadian hometown hero, was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame. And in the documentary that chronicles his life that premiered last year, he talks about effort. And he says, don't expect to give 60% effort and get 100% of the result you want. If you want 100% of the result you want, put in 100% of the effort. And I think to the 20 young people here tonight, you've demonstrated that you've put in 100% of the effort to achieve the result that you've achieved tonight. The second word is perseverance. And many of us couldn't comprehend the situations and the challenges that you've gone through to get here tonight, but I think it demonstrates to this community that you're willing to persevere through challenging times. So we all congratulate you for that. And the third is commitment, and building off the model that Angie has set for each of you, I would ask you to take the commitment that you've demonstrated to yourselves, to the adult allies in this room who have helped you along the way, and turn that into a commitment to continuing to better yourselves and a commitment back to this community to make it better. And if you do that, you will make everybody in this room immensely proud for many years to come. I congratulate you, and I look forward to all the best in future years for each of you. Merci beaucoup.
Strong messages from our special guest speakers, and you're going to hear some inspirational stories as well. But again, the commitment here tonight from all of our politicians, and I think it's a wonderful commitment that you've made tonight to be here and to choose this event amongst all of the many competing events. So we thank you for being present with us tonight. I would like now to welcome Catherine Blaney, Acting Superintendent of Anglophone West School District, to bring greetings on behalf of the school district. Catherine, good to see you again.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. Let me begin by congratulating all of the students receiving awards this evening. For an educator, you are the inspiration for the work we do every day. Gandhi once said, "You must be the change you want to see in the world." In other words, although life changes are inevitable, we can also initiate personal change, rise to the challenge, and become a bigger and better person as a result. We know change is not always easy. Personal courage is often required to accomplish significant change that pushes us beyond our comfort zone. This takes courage, tenacity, and inner strength. Don't be afraid of change. Be afraid of not changing. For those of us in the room that are on the tailing end of our careers, you know that time moves quickly. When you reflect back on what you have done over the years, you want to live with no regrets. Life gets better by opening up ourselves to new learnings, new opportunities, and new growth. The students we are honoring tonight have done this. They have demonstrated effort, commitment, and perseverance. They have overcome obstacles and inner struggles to gain the confidence in academic success. They've embraced change and came out stronger and better prepared for their future. There is a famous saying that the foundation of every society is the education of its youth. A good school provides a safe and positive learning environment. A good teacher can inspire hope, ignite the imagination, and instill a love of learning. Families can guide, comfort, and inspire. But it is the belief in yourself and the faith in your own abilities that helps everything fall into place. Congratulations to the organizing committee, teachers, families, and community businesses who care enough to make a real difference in the lives of these deserving students. My parting words are for the students. Continue your turnaround journey. Don't stop here. And be sure to share your story because it may help somebody else change their lives too. Thanks.
And I would be remiss if I didn't mention the absence of David McTimoney, our former superintendent, who was a staple here, but unfortunately is under the weather. Otherwise, we know he would do everything in his power to be here with us tonight. Now, this may be a surprise to some of you who are here for the first time. And just a show of hands, how many of you are here for the first time? Wow, very good. So we also celebrate teachers. So we're going to be honoring teachers tonight, introducing the Kingswood Educator of the Year Awards, whereby we recognize a couple of teachers who have played a significant role in the lives of students. One teacher from each of the Fredericton and Oromocto Education Centers has been selected to receive this award. Now, as I call your name, if you could please come to the podium to accept your award, and we will begin with, I'm saying like it's a surprise, and I'm sure she knows she's being recognized, but Jackie Spinn, kindergarten teacher at Connaught Street School. We will give the honor, and we will give the honor of presenting the Educator of the Year Award to Catherine Blaney. Thank you, Catherine. Connaught Street School would like to nominate Jackie Spinn, kindergarten teacher. Jackie grew up in Bathurst and studied early childhood education at Nova Scotia Teachers College. She then pursued a career with preschoolers until shifting gears and enrolling in Stu's BED program. She graduated in 2007 and has worked at a number of Fredericton Education Center elementary schools. However, her longest tenure has been at Connaught Street School. Jackie is a quiet leader in the profession, however, is recognized for her gifts and talents for instructional best practice by our universities, as she will often be the recipient of interns who require substantial peer coaching and mentoring. She's been involved in the Bridging Project through the Department of Education and Early Childhood Development and UNB for linking preschool practices to kindergarten transitions. Jackie also sits on a board that vets upwards of 50 to 60 children's books annually for the appropriateness of children. That's a huge time investment on her part. Jackie has one of the most open dispositions working with students with exceptionalities. She embraces the child and their family on a deeply profound professional and personal level. Her collaborative nature extends to her collegial relationships. She is a master co-planner and co-teacher. She maximizes the skills of all adults who work in her classroom, and she truly sees students and their boundless potential. Hear, hear for that. Most recently, she has taken on a project with the New Brunswick Association of Community Living by welcoming a 19-year-old woman into her classroom who has significant physical impairments and communicates through technology. They are collaborating on a Read Aloud program for the students. Now, this is a very powerful message of inclusion being shared with her students and modeled by their amazing teacher. Above all else, Jackie is humble and does not seek recognition. In fact, she constantly questions her instructional practice, wanting to ensure she is current and operating in a most professional manner. She would be the first to say she's not deserving an award. However, we would disagree and say that she most certainly does. Connaught Street School is pleased to nominate Jackie Spinn as a deserving recipient of the Kingswood Educator Award.
Good evening, honored guests, families, and friends. Firstly, I want to say thank you to the FEC for choosing my name for this year's Turnaround Awards teacher recipient. I wish to thank my colleagues for nominating me and the people with whom I work every day. I am so blessed to work with teachers, EAs, and students who put team in their daily practice and really love what they do. Along with team, our school uses 2 words that mark everything we do and everything we want our students to know about themselves. These words are, I can. I can learn, I can try, I can be part of the game, and I can belong regardless of my ability. Looking around at the students that are being honored here tonight, I have no doubt that you are surrounded by a team, family, friends, teachers, that help you see that you can. I want to offer my congratulations for all your accomplishments and turning your life around and becoming an I can person. You may be surprised to know that there was a time in my life that I found school hard. I had to find the I can in my own life. I believe there was a plan for my life that included teaching. This plan, as in all plans, meant putting in the effort and working hard. I believe that everyone can contribute and has a place in our schools, our community, and the world regardless of where they come from and regardless of ability. We all can. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and congratulations. Quiet leader, I'd have to question that. But congratulations, and again, she started off crediting everyone else and not herself, so congratulations. That's a wonderful accomplishment and achievement, and we're so thankful that we're able to recognize that tonight. I do ask Catherine Blaney again to come forward to present our next award to, I always expect a drum roll, why not give me a drum roll? Wendy Cumberland Resource Center, Oromocto. As Wendy comes forward. So when you think of an unsung hero as someone you can rely on, Wendy Cumberland comes to mind. Currently, she is a resource lead with the Oromocto Education Center. Wendy goes above and beyond each and every day in her support of students and school-based teams. Whether it be planning for individualized students, coaching new resource teachers, looking at new assessment practices, scheduling of education assistants, helping with assistive technology, delivering professional learning, or training with our new Educational Support Services Connect system, Wendy is there. Wendy values building relationships, connection, and rapport with others. She's a great listener and seeks to offer the best advice possible given the situation presented to her. Wendy is strong, kind, thoughtful, and understanding of what classroom teachers and educational support services team members face on a daily basis. She epitomizes the growth mindset that we're looking for in leaders and builds capacity in each and every case that she works on, never accepting her colleagues to give more of themselves than what she would give herself. Congratulations, Wendy, on being recognized with the Kingswood Educator Award. The work that you do makes a difference in the lives of students and throughout the Oromocto education system. Thank you.
have to say I'm honored. I'm also somewhat overwhelmed standing up here. I would like to thank the organizers of this event. I know it takes a tremendous amount of work, but it's an incredibly worthwhile endeavor to honor our students who have worked so hard to turn themselves around. I would also like to thank those who put my name forward, and thank you for honoring my values around my work, for putting your trust in me, for the opportunities to learn and grow, and especially thank you for allowing me to be who I am. I truly appreciate it. I'd also like to take a few minutes to speak to the students who are here tonight. Look around this room. This is the Turnaround Achievement Awards. Do you know what that means? It means that at some point you turned it around. You started to believe in yourself. Despite the obstacles, maybe challenges with home, maybe challenges with schoolwork, maybe challenges with your friends, you started to believe in yourself. Along the way, you may very well have had people who encouraged you and gave you some strength to believe in yourself, maybe teachers or coaches or friends. I'm fortunate to have my parents here as guests tonight, and they have always believed in me. I'm also fortunate to have my daughters here, and I certainly hope that I have instilled in them believing in themselves, as I see that as my most important job. You won't likely believe in yourselves all the time. I don't believe in myself every minute of every day. But I've learned to believe in myself enough that I can make decisions that move me forward and honor my values. You won't likely believe in yourself every minute either. Most people don't. But when you don't, use what you've learned to get yourself back on track. Sidle up with friends, teachers, family who remind you, you got this. I have my husband here with me tonight, and he is one of my you got this people. He stands beside me when I'm not sure and reminds me to believe in myself. Find your you got this people. Thank you and congratulations.
So again, another round of applause for Jackie Spinn and Wendy Cumberland, recipients of tonight's Educator Award. So before we begin our student presentations, it's worth noting that over the years, the Kingswood Turnaround Achievement Award Group has been instrumental in lending assistance and expertise to other jurisdictions. There are now Turnaround Awards ceremonies in Nova Scotia, in Bathurst, in St. Stephen, and in St. John. Kingswood is pleased that their passion has been contagious and has added to the lives of many students from various other areas. I think that's such a great story. Hopefully this is a trend that will continue and we will see this life-changing program rolling out across the country. And if anyone can do it, this team can do it, led by Brian Johnson. As mentioned earlier, we are celebrating 25 memorable years that the Turnaround Awards have been in existence. We are honored tonight to have someone here who was instrumental in getting the first ceremony off the ground. I would like to ask Alex Dingwall to come forward and reflect on that first meeting that launched the inaugural event. You're welcome. Yeah. Best buds used to be neighbors.
This is what we do to the students. We ask them to come up and someone talks about them. I'm here just to briefly talk about the history of the Turnaround Achievement Awards because I think it's important to put the context of how they came about and the importance they have in the province today. What you hear tonight and the celebrations we have tonight are a result of 25 years of continual support from Kingswood and in particular the leadership of Brian. 25 years ago, the education system wasn't like it is today, thank goodness. We had approximately 30% of our students throughout the province who would leave school early. Most of the students, believe it or not, were in grade 9 and 10. They were 15, 14, 15, and 16 years old. They hadn't even gotten to that point of success where they saw grade 11 and 12 as being meaningful to their future. Thankfully, the government of the day and successive governments, along with leadership in the province, from the communities, from parents, especially from teachers, said this wasn't good enough. And over the 25 years since, there have been a multitude of innovative programs that have come in, supports from federal government, provincial governments, from community groups, and whatever, to make sure that every student, and this is the vision and the mission of education in the province, has a chance of success and ultimately will graduate from the school system. So this province has gone from what we call a dropout rate, fairly negative statement, of 30% to a success rate of 97% graduation rate. It's one of the leading jurisdictions in the world. There are provinces who cannot emulate this at all in our country or in North America or any place else. So it's really a tribute to the success of the system, of the people who came forward to acknowledge that we needed to serve students first. In the middle of all this, when we're initiating these programs, there was something missing. And Brian, because of his experience, his growth in Kingswood at that time it was growing in a very different direction for him. And he came back with this story about the program that he had seen promoted in the United States. It was rather foreign to us to celebrate success of students who, generally speaking, had difficulty within our system. So we proposed it through Dr. Miller, as was seen in the film, to him, and we had a couple of principals who thought about it and said, okay, we'll give it a try. And from there, it built. Every year, it got more and more progressive. And this is one of the attributes that I have to give to Brian. He's a person with a vision. He's like a dog with a bone. Once he sees something that's good, he will continue to pursue it. And every year, as a matter of fact, at the end of this tonight, and 2 nights probably, the group, Gary, and you will get together with the group and say, how can we make this better? So this is really something with regards to a community school partnership, which is very difficult. These things are fragile. We have 2 different types of organizations, different kinds of mandates, so to speak. They're very busy, but in this particular case, because of the leadership of Brian and his staff at Kingswood, and the leadership of the principals in the schools and the teachers, they come together once a year to celebrate the success that we have. One other really defining factor for Kingswood is the partnerships that Brian has invited to come in and help celebrate. You see the sponsors who are here tonight, and that just didn't come about putting up their hand. That came out and talking about the program and talking about the success of the program and how these students were part of the community. Again, Brian took great leadership and great pride in bringing people together to have the celebration in the Fredericton area. It wasn't, I guess, 10 years later, then I got another call from Brian saying, you know, this is a pretty good idea. What do you think about the other districts in the province? I had to caution Brian that usually ideas that come out of Fredericton aren't really well received in the rest of the province. But in his wisdom, he ignored me, and we went ahead and we promoted it throughout the province. And as Rose mentioned, we have turnaround achievement celebrations in other jurisdictions. And as a matter of fact, even to Nova Scotia, he's gone that, and that's a personal commitment that he's made. I know he doesn't like the recognition. His recognition and his joy is seeing what happens tonight. But I thought I'd give you a piece of the history of the leadership that Brian has lent to this whole event. This being the 25th year, folks, and that's quite something. And thank you very much, Brian, for all that.
Thank you so much, Alex. He and Brian promoted the event to other jurisdictions via an 8-track tape. That's how far back we're going. Oh, way to go, boys. You guys did a really, really great thing back then. Brian says if it wasn't for you, though, this event would not be the reality that it is today. So I love that you're both tag teaming, and you both really deserve this recognition that you're both getting tonight for starting this event. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce our guest speaker for this evening. And this will surprise, well, since so many of you are new, it might not surprise you, but it is surprising me that he's even agreed to be the guest speaker because, as Alex said, he's so very modest, and although I try to do what I can up here to show through you our appreciation for Brian, it just doesn't come across. So I'm so thankful he's accepted the invitation to be our special guest speaker. Brian Johnson. Fittingly, later this month, Brian is being presented with the Philanthropy in Action Award, which honors members of the Greater Fredericton region who have given of their time, talent, financial resources for the well-being of the community and surrounding areas. Your name is synonymous with that award, Brian. This year's honorees have all been long-standing and humble contributors to worthy causes in our community, volunteering their very special talents and countless hours to causes that they also support financially. Now, the recipients have specifically worked with youth and seniors in our community, and tonight we're happy to recognize the importance of Brian's contributions. Brian's community service is extensive. He served as the president of the UNB men's hockey team for 18 years. He's been a major financial supporter of UNB athletics, and he's received the UNB Certificate of Achievement Award. Brian is well known for his remarkable commitment to the Kingswood Turnaround Achievement Awards. In its 25th year, the event honors students who have turned their lives around. Now, through the Turnaround Achievement Awards, $400,000 in scholarships have been awarded to more than 1,000 students in 22 schools in the Fredericton area. That is significant. Brian received the Queen Elizabeth II Diamond Jubilee Award, the Citation from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the Spirit of the Game Award, Hockey Canada, and is recognized in the Canadian Hockey Hall of Fame. He has also received the Canadian Museum Association Award for Philanthropy, the J.D. Irving Arts Award, the Premier's Disability Award, and several other awards. Honored and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together in praise of Brian Johnson tonight, our guest speaker.
Wow. I didn't know you were going to tell them all that. No, I really appreciate this. This isn't my event. This is your event for all the students, and it is my wife Denise is right here, and we want to welcome all the students and all the recipients of their awards and the scholarship funding that you'll be receiving soon. Personally, I think this program should be Canada-wide. I've helped it get into Nova Scotia and several in New Brunswick, but I really think that every student in Canada should have this opportunity to what you people are receiving today. I think of someone that a few years ago, he was a student here. He was a recipient of the Turnaround Awards, and he called me up and he said, I received the award so many years ago, I can't quite, it was like 15 years ago, and he said, the most valuable thing I had in my home is my award that we had given him, and his picture and his medallion, and he kept it in his living room above his fireplace so his kids could see the award he had received from us. And he said, I want to know if you could do me a favor. And I said, what's that? He said, well, my house burned to the ground and I lost all my awards, and I always should show my awards off to my kids. And so he said, would you replace those awards? And I said, well, you know, the turnaround award ceremony's in 3 months from now, and I'd be more than happy to replace all the awards. And so he came, told his story. The whole place was in tears, and it was amazing. But that's, you know, down the road for you people, you'll be looking back, telling your kids what you have accomplished, and that you were here getting this award. And another favorite is Angela. When we gave her award year 1, year 20, she comes to me after I'm at the podium, and we're just finishing, and she said, I was a recipient. She was presenting a student, and she said, I was a recipient your first year. And here she's had her own addiction problems and overcame those and became a counselor at the First Nations school and with First Nations students. And what a turnaround that is. So that's, I know that a lot of you out there are going to do the same incredible things. And I want to congratulate you. From Denise and I would like to congratulate you. But again, I believe this award program should be for everyone, not just this small region that we're in. And I don't know how to get it out there. I've thought of ways of contacting giant chains and across the country and just seeing if some of them might get involved. But it's really the group we have that run this group I have that is helping me run this are all dedicated, and it'd be hard to put this together in every community. You know, you really need a dedicated group. It's not me doing all the setup. It's my family, our many people that work for Kingswood, and people like Rose that have been with us right from the start, and she's the best MC ever in the city of Fredericton, I have to admit. But anyway, I just want to thank everyone. I want to thank Alex. You know, when he, I remember back when Alex was the director of schools or whatever in the Department of New Brunswick. And we were friends. He was my neighbor. I showed him the program. And so we went, and Barry Miller was there, and he brought all the principals in the Fredericton area. And so I had an 8-track tape that I got from Florida, the old 8-tracks. And we showed him a small ceremony that was down in Florida. It was in the Orlando area. And all the principals were there, and when they saw the video, they were silent. No one said anything. And I was going, oh boy, this isn't going to work. And then Alex and Barry started pushing them. Come on, somebody, say something. And eventually one of the principals said, I like it. And then, do you remember that, Alex? And then eventually they all came on board, and we gave it a try, and that was 25 years ago. So anyway, there's so many people I could thank here, Ed, Casey, and so many others around, and I've had so much support from the province. But the turnaround scholarship funding comes from a variety of companies that support us, and if I want to say that someone else that's very key to us is Kevin Price, who's here, and Keith Ashfield, who is our Member of Parliament. They love the Turnaround Achievement Awards program, and I was applying for a nonprofit status in Canada so we could give out tax receipts and whatever. So they went to work for us, and Keith Ashfield was just loved this program, and those two were the reason we have been able to raise the monies that we're raising every year. And after this night is over, we'll have raised we'll have handed out over $400,000 in scholarships, and we're close to 1,000. 9:30. We're close to 1,000 students as well. So, anyway, thanks very much. Thanks, Alex, I really appreciate it. And I congratulate all the students again, and all the best. And if you're ever at Kingswood and you want to come in and say hello, you're certainly welcome to, for sure. I've met many students, and anyway, thank you very much. Okay.
I'm so glad that Brian started off just, saying that he's heard from so many students, because I get copied on a lot of the correspondence that goes, between now and next year. Some of the correspondence I'm copied on it, and I saved this letter in particular, and I could have chosen any one of, I'm sure, countless letters that you get. And it just says, I was honored and pleased to receive the 2018 Kingswood Turnaround Achievement Award Scholarship, and I would like to express my gratitude for the generosity Kingswood has shown, not only to me, but to all the students your scholarship has supported over the years. I started my first year studies in St. Thomas University this fall, pursuing a 4-year degree in criminology. Because of Kingswood's generosity, I'll be able to work fewer hours in my part-time job and spend more time on my studies, while also playing for the university's volleyball team. I've been involved in sports my entire life and have gained many benefits from the experience. I look forward to being able to give back to the community. I knew I couldn't do it. Oh, I look forward to being able to give back to the community once I begin my career. That's the impact Brian and this organization and this event is having on people in our city, and that is expanding to other provinces. And I just couldn't even begin to imagine anything that is more important than making the impact that you're making on these students and their lives, honestly. So again, thank you for all that you do. We really, really appreciate you and all of your efforts. I usually don't start crying until the student presentations, but when I talk about Brian, I think you can understand why I would get quite emotional. So we will now begin the I know a lot of the students are like, when is it my turn? So we will now begin the presentation of our I've seen double, but anyway, we will now begin the presentation of our 2019 Kingswood Turnaround Achievement Awards. So permit me to briefly explain the ceremonial proceedings. So each recipient will be escorted to the podium, and then following the presentation and acceptance speech, you'll then make your way through the receiving line. So each student this evening will receive the following, and you heard mention of it earlier by Brian. A pewter medallion, that's again, thank you to Kathy and the district. A certificate from the Premier of New Brunswick, Blaine Higgs, a certificate from the Member of Parliament, Matt DeCourcy, a certificate from the Minister of Education and Early Childhood Development, Dominic Cardy, a certificate from Kingswood, and so could the following form the receiving line: Brian Johnson, Catherine Blaney, and Dominic Cardy, and then we'll start to introduce the students, the school they are from, and the presenter. So if our receiving line can be formed, and we will begin. So could we call upon Tatiana Cote, and she is a grade 12 student at Oromocto High School, and here to present her award is Maxine McConnell. And as they both make their way up, I'll just remind you that her powerful story, congratulations, you're very articulate. Your story really moved me, and we appreciate that you're here tonight and congratulate you on receiving this award.
Rose, I might need some of your tissues. So.
Sure thing. I'm going to grab some myself.
Good evening. It is a pleasure to introduce you to Tatiana Cote. If you had the opportunity, you may have heard her story on CBC Radio this morning. I think her story is the definition of turnaround. Tat has had a rough go the last few years, but I'll be the first to tell you that her perseverance and pure cussed stubbornness are the reason she stands here tonight. Tat is graduating next month, and her 4 years at OHS have been an experience for all who know her. She arrived in grade 9 and she was a whirlwind. Sassy might be a good adjective to describe her. She always had a sassy remark to teachers, and me in particular, when I would ask her to vacate the cafeteria or head to class. Sassy, but always friendly, and for the most part respectful. She went on her way in her own sweet time, usually giving me the gears as she gathered up her belongings and made her way. Mischievous could also describe Tatiana. Do you remember hiding between the theater seats, skipping class? And when discovered, she told Mr. Jessam she really wanted to take the yoga class that was going on the theater stage. Mr. Jessam referred to you as brat. Pretty accurate. Grade 10 and 11 were challenging for Tat. This young woman feels great empathy for others. No one cries alone if Tatiana is within eyesight. She was the first to take on the cause for someone else, good and bad. Tatiana was the go-to for so many people that the problems of others soon weighed on her shoulders. Tat, who was always seemingly enjoying life, soon found herself struggling to come to school and go to class, do her schoolwork, or even function in life. She turned to drugs and made some bad life choices. It was terrifying for me personally to watch this young woman spiral out of control. Her teachers certainly noticed a change in her, and many of her teachers tried to support her and help her make better choices for herself. Many of those teachers have come tonight to show their continued support of this little firecracker standing here. Tatiana reached rock bottom just over a year ago, struggling with addiction and thoughts of suicide, the death of a good friend, and the burden of what probably felt like the whole world on her shoulders. Tat finally reached out and grabbed onto the hands that were reaching for her. Her mom, her counselors, her teachers, her true friends, and she allowed herself to see that she was worth so much more than what she thought of herself, and that she had to put herself first. This was a hard lesson to learn, and we still have to have that occasion on occasion. Stop putting everyone else first, Tat, and think of yourself. It's often a chat we have every few days. Tat spent time at Portage Atlantic where she worked through her addiction. And in her own words to me, she said on Christmas Day 2018, and I quote, "I'm using the bricks others have thrown at me to build a solid foundation for myself. I can stand on my own feet, and I'm not searching for validation from others anymore." She was 5 weeks clean at that point. "I've kept every message that you've ever sent to me, and I cherish reading through them because I can see the progress that she has made," I'm sorry, "from rock bottom to the top of the mountain." She returned to us at OHS in September in one word: motivated. She stepped up out of her comfort zone and became a representative on student government. She became a vocal leader in the school and mentored so many other students who were having a rough go. And sharing her advice as only Tatiana can share advice, with brutal honesty. She still fights for the little person, but she's also taking time for herself and has realized many of her goals. She needed 12 credits to graduate in September, and she has been able to achieve 7. She's done 7 courses, 2 on her own, 5 in her classrooms, and she's doing 5 more, and she's going to graduate in June with an average of 90 plus. She's applied to schools and she's been accepted to some. She's, I believe, attending St. Thomas. She's working too many hours at her part-time jobs, yet she is excelling in all ways. And yes, still has the odd down day, some that are harder than others, but she's developed resilience and knows when she needs to reach out for help and support. I finished this evening by saying how much I admire this young woman. She is a sassy ray of sunshine in so many lives and makes a difference every day in this world. Tat, you went on in that message to me on Christmas Day, vowing to make me and your mom proud. Two people, your mom and I, could not be any more proud of you than at this moment. Your turnaround has been spectacular to have been a part of, even through all these tears tonight. Congratulations.
Oh wow, there's really a lot of people here. Hey guys. All right. So first off, I would like to thank all of the people that are here tonight, and I'd also like to congratulate all the other Turnaround Achievement Award winners. I would then like to thank Portage Atlantic for motivating my turnaround in life. I'll never stop being grateful for the things that you guys have taught me, and which enabled me to look into the future and see myself in. You guys saved my life. Next, I'd like to thank Miss Breen for chasing me down the hallways and refusing to give up on me. I know now that you're not out to get me. Miss Foster, you're not here tonight, but you've given me the gift of forgiveness. You helped me accept that where I came from is totally okay, so thank you. Miss Kennedy, you taught me strength. You made me realize that I too matter. And to me, you also matter. So thank you. Miss Mumbercat, welcome to my school mom team. You're obviously the most organized of my school moms. No, that was a joke. You taught me that it is okay to be me and that I'm not like everyone else. Miss McConnell. Without you, I would not be standing here right now. You're my second mom, and I've never doubted that you loved me like a daughter of your own. We obviously look so much alike. Thank you for pushing me to get help and guiding me after I found it. For this, I owe you my life. Mom, we can both admit that I put you through hell and back, but you never stopped loving me. Thank you for providing me with hope for a future. I know it was never easy to watch me struggle, but I love you more for being there. Cole, I know you're not here tonight, but I know you're watching. And I don't know if I would be able to do this if you weren't watching me. Before I finish, I'd like to stop crying. And I'd like to thank Kingswood for taking the time to recognize that many youth do struggle and that we can also turn around. Standing here on this stage means so much more to me than I can even explain. My mom always said, it takes a community to raise a child. And I'm really, really thankful for the community that raised me. I look forward to paying it forward.
I really don't want to put anyone on the spot, and I've been looking into the audience to see if I can see him, but are there representatives of Portage in the audience tonight? And can you please stand, because this will be one of many times that we mention your good work. There, table 5. Thank you for standing, really. We are so thankful that you are a huge part of this event, and stories like Tatana's are just goosebumpy. So, and really, she would not be, what a testament to your program, she would not be standing here tonight without Portage. So thank you for the work that you do, honestly. And if I have any more volunteer hours left in my day, you will hear from me, but I'm pretty strapped. But if it lessens at all, I'll be knocking on your door for sure. I would like to be part of that success story. Next on our list is grade 12 student Skylar Lowenberg. You may have read his story in the Daily Gleaner yesterday. And Skylar's award is being presented by Karen Daly.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us here today. It's really exciting to be able to talk about Skylar this evening. As mentioned, my name is Karen Daly, and I actually teach math at Fredericton High School. I've been lucky enough to actually teach both of FHS's Turnaround Achievement Award recipients twice. So congratulations, Lee, as well. And Caitlin from Enterprise, I remember you from last year. Congratulations, you too. But I'm here to talk about Skylar Lowenberg today. As mentioned, I've taught Skylar twice, once when he was in grade 9 and again in grade 11. When Skylar was in grade 9, he was never, ever, not once, disrespectful, nor was he ever a behavior problem. He was not well known in the office. As a matter of fact, the VPs and the principal didn't really know who he was, and that's a positive thing. That's good when you're in high school. Had I not taught Skylar in grade 9 and grade 11, I might have missed his turnaround. But that's not to say that it's not worth noting. That's why we're here tonight. When Skylar was in grade 9, he liked to sit in the back of the classroom. That and the fact that he wore camouflage an awful lot made me used to think that he wanted to blend into the back wall. I think that was his plan. He didn't want to draw attention to himself. He didn't want to be called upon. He really didn't want me to ask him anything about algebra or surface area. In grade 9, he wasn't one to ask questions when he didn't understand anything, and he definitely did not frequent my room at lunchtime for extra help. He wasn't studious, he wasn't motivated. He was a nice kid, he was just checked out, and his grades didn't really mean that much to him. Fast forward to September of Skylar's grade 11 year, last year. I saw my class list for the semester, and I recognized Skylar's name immediately. But when he walked into the classroom, I literally did a double take. I was like, who is that kid? I hardly recognized him. His appearance was different. He was more clean cut. The way he walked into the room had changed. He had more confidence now than I'd ever remember seeing before. And immediately, the big thing, he sat right up in the front row, right where I could see him. He got his books out right away. I didn't have to say, come on, let's get started. He was ready to go from the very first minute. And I thought, okay, Skylar's grown up a little bit since grade 9. I've seen this before in the first day of school. Would this last, though? It lasted, and I was blown out of the water. Skylar did more than grow up a little. He totally changed his outlook on life, and more importantly, what type of future he wanted for himself. He worked hard in class every single day. It was like a whole new kid. He asked questions when he didn't understand something, and he regularly came in for extra help. He was actually like my buddy at lunchtime. He was there a lot. He had goals, and he was motivated to achieve them. He also started taking part in school and community activities, something he didn't do in grade 9. He became a member of Cat's Kitchen at FHS. It's a program where we make sure that no student goes hungry. And he became a volunteer firefighter in Keswick. Becoming physically fit was also something that became very important to him and a passion of his. This year, I was even more blown away yet again. The guy who wanted to blend in with the back wall suddenly decided he was going to take part in FHS's Mr. Mardi Gras show and competition. I'm hearing some giggles because I'm betting there's a lot of FHS former graduates here. He not only participated in it, he won the whole thing. He impressed the judges and the crowd with his talent and his ability to laugh at himself. Suddenly, the kid who wanted to blend in with the wall was proud of who he was, and he wanted to make other people see this as well, and people noticed. During one of my extra help sessions last year, when Skylar was the only student who came in that day, I asked him what brought about the change. He shrugged his shoulders and he tried to laugh it off. But me being a teacher, I had to push, I had to know. This is an exciting thing for a teacher to see this type of change. He finally said he had an idea of what his life would be like if he kept doing things the way he was doing them. And he decided that wasn't the life that he wanted for himself. That kid in grade 9 who was unmotivated and checked out is now anything but. He'll be attending UNB in the fall, where he'll be studying kinesiology. Again, his passion for fitness is coming alive there. And I truly believe that the sky is the limit for Skylar. I am very, very grateful that I had the opportunity to meet him and to teach him. He's made an impact on my life. Congratulations, Skylar.
I just want to say thank you to Miss Daly for being an amazing teacher and nominating me for this award. And to everyone that's going to step on the stage tonight to receive an award, somewhere along the way, we found something that pushed us to become better versions of ourselves. Some people might find that later in life, and unfortunately some people might never find that, but we did. And when you move forward in your life, don't lose that. It's important. Thank you.
Gosh, just his demeanor, you can tell the opportunities in his future are endless. Skylar, I keep wanting you to say, Lowenberg, Skylar, Lowenberg, Bond, James Bond. Like you are really rocking the suit tonight, buddy. Holy jumpins. Very, very nice. Our next student goes by the name of Lee Gallant and attends Fredericton High School as a grade 12 student, and here to present the award is Nathan Langell.
First of all, I'd like to thank, or I'd like to acknowledge our winners, Skylar from Fredericton High School, but I'd also like to acknowledge two other students that I get to reacquaint myself with tonight, Wyatt from the Enterprise Center and Zach as well, both two students that I know from Fredericton High School and have done a tremendous turnaround themselves, so I'd like to acknowledge those two students as well. Hello folks, and I stand here beside you today with Lee Gallant as a proud administrator, knowing that today is well earned, but not without some challenges along the way. When I first met Lee, she was a fiery individual with a disdain for adults, especially those in positions of authority. Lee and I met quite a few times, more than a few? Yeah, there you go. In grade 9 for a variety of indiscretions, and I'm not up here to embarrass her, and that's one of the things is I don't want to go into all the great details. My speech is a little bit shorter, so I don't want to go into all those. I know that in grade 8 was difficult for her, and that the transition to high school was not easy. Despite all of our little one-on-ones and a few tough consequences, Lee pulled off a 75% average. Very proud of you. This showed me that Lee had the ability to do better, do more, become someone with a bright future. Between grade 9 and 10, something changed. What was this? Only she knows, but she gave me a little indicator, and you can acknowledge that person later. I only saw Lee a select number of times in grade 10 and even less in grade 11. She became a 90% student and has maintained that average over the past 3 years. What I want everyone to know is that Lee is a person of great integrity, strong convictions, and the grade 10-11 visits were generally connected to an unwavering support, and a little misplaced, of a fellow student, or because she felt something was wrong with a classroom or a teacher. What was different with our little meetings was that Lee would listen a little bit more, communicate better. And even if the answer or solution was not exactly what she wanted to hear, or even if she still disagreed, we were on the same, we would get somewhere to be on the same page. And I found out tonight, and I'm going to go off script here, is that I had a conversation with her father at the beginning, and I just talked her over here that one of her goals is to go to university and become a lawyer. So your arguing will do very well as a lawyer, okay? Lee, I am proud of you, proud of your turnaround, proud of your academic accomplishments, and proud of your personal growth. I hope to see you 10 years down the road in some informal setting where you tell me all about what you have accomplished and what you're planning to do for the next 10 years. I just hope that I'm not so old that I forget your name.
I'd just like to thank everyone who played a part in me being able to be here tonight. I'd like to thank my amazing parents, my amazing teachers, Mr. Langell for being such a positive influence on me, and my wonderful boyfriend who taught me that there's life after high school and I should probably be getting on that. When I first started high school, I didn't really see myself going anywhere or even graduating. And now I'm here, accepted to UMB and like getting this turnaround award, and I'm so, so thankful for all these opportunities I've gotten.
I am just going to say something because I'm so thankful for something that's happening tonight, and it doesn't always happen. It's that we get to hear from the students. And it seems like if one doesn't say something, then the others don't. And some nights we've gone with kind of not hearing at all from the students. So I really encourage you, if you're still there and need to come up, we do want to hear your stories because that really touches at our heartstrings. And so I encourage more of that. That's really great. So our next student is in grade 8 at Bliss Carman Middle School and goes by the name of Aiden Evans. And here to present the award to Aiden is Gretchen Murray.
So good evening, everyone. Special guests, students, parents, educators, thank you for coming here to honor our recipients of the Turnaround Achievement Award. Each year, our district recognizes students who have turned their lives around. In the past 25 years, students have been honored with the evening to mark their special accomplishments. The program reflects improvement in personal behavior, attitude, and academics. This award showcases students who have turned themselves around in many avenues of life. As the definition states, to turn around is to go in the opposite direction. The student receiving this award did exactly that. Aiden Evans has always been a kind and caring young man, but he never had a love for academics. When I first met Aiden this year, he wholeheartedly explained to me that his disdain for school, and in particular, the classes. He also did not have much time for French, LA, science, physical education, music, art, social studies, health. You get the picture. Aiden's academic day usually started with him shaking his head. No. He would rather do anything else. The only subject he did not outright despise was mine, math. He loved having the right answer. When his answer was wrong, however, ooh boy. At first, it was very difficult for Aiden. He was set in his ways and didn't particularly like feedback. Over the next several weeks, our team worked really hard with Aiden to provide him with the tools he needed to be successful. We allowed him time, gave him space, both physically and mentally, to achieve his goals. He started to thrive. He had a willingness to learn and change. This is a perfect example of what the turnaround is. There was a full shift in mindset. As soon as our team recognized the power of positive reinforcement, it was off to the races for Aiden. Now, Aiden does his work, participates in Magic Club, and had a role in the drama production just yesterday and all last week. 2 years ago, Aiden would not have been able to do this. Over the year, his defiance turned into compliance, the scorn into a smile. His arms were no longer folded, but rather outstretched, awaiting a hug. His willingness to take risks and to listen to what people are saying is something that changed this man's young life forever. I'm so proud of the young man Aiden has become. I cannot say enough about the challenges he has overcome to get here tonight. Congratulations, Aiden.
I would like to thank everybody for coming here, and I'm just a little nervous. I'm so happy that I got this. I would like to thank my family and friends for helping me get through this, and I would like to thank all my EAs and teachers also, as well. I had a bit of a large struggle when I first started at BCMS, but once I went through, I kept getting better. And kept getting higher grades, and that's what kept making me up, and that's what kept me happy and alive. That's actually it. Well, I have autism as well, so that's probably one of the reasons. Well, that's probably a reason. Oh my gosh. Another reason why I had a small bit of a struggle. I was shy at first at the school, but then I made a lot of friends there. And then I got to know everybody there. That's all I have to say.
I'm going to be replaced as your MC next year with all these people going up and going off the cuff with no notes and speaking so articulately. I'm like, wow. Well done, Aiden. That was lovely. Our next recipient is Carter Reed, a grade 8 student at Devon Middle School. And here to present is Christy Henniger.
Good evening. My name is Christy Henniger from Devon Middle School. I first met Carter when he was about 1.5 feet shorter, just entering Devon Middle School from elementary. He was in my homeroom and in my science class. Carter had trouble regulating his emotions and adjusting to the transition of middle school. As the year went on, Carter and I spent many lunches together, sometimes by his choice and sometimes by mine. Over those lunch hours, I got to know Carter and his big heart. We both have a love for science, and I've never been more proud of a student's hard work on a STEAM Expo project. I was going out on maternity leave at the end of his grade 6 year, and I remember telling my sister, who was coming back off of maternity leave, to take extra care of Carter, as he was a fantastic boy, but needed a little guidance. My sister, Erica Hallett, formed an extra special bond with Carter, but unfortunately she was unable to be here tonight. She's on mat leave again and out of town. She wishes so much she could be here, and she wrote the following for me to read. I have had the honor of knowing Carter for the past 2 years and worked very closely with him as a resource teacher. I first met Carter and immediately knew he was a student that had so much potential, both academically and socially. But sometimes his emotions got the better of him in high-stress situations, and that he required some guidance to get through the day. It was not uncommon for me to help Carter daily, most days multiple times, to regulate his emotions, which as a result took away from his class and his social time. Just in the past year, Carter has proven that he is working diligently, both at school and at home, on self-regulation skills, social and emotional learning, and how he can better respond in what he feels are stressful situations. Carter has worked and collaborated closely with the resource team at Devon Middle School in creating his own independent behavior support plan, outlining specific strategies that he himself must try and use before the situation escalates. Carter has worked hard at following through with his plan and has engaged his self-regulation strategies daily. Even though it is obvious, it's quite difficult for him at times. He consistently demonstrates that he wants to better himself and is willing to do what it takes in order to do so. He now almost always asks for help or guidance before he engages in an unexpected behavior and follows the advice that he is given. Carter rarely comes to the resource room anymore, and if he does, it's not for guidance, but just to hang out or say hi. Overall, he has shown so much growth and maturity. I am so pleased it is recognized at this wonderful event. Carter, I am so proud of you, and in my opinion, there's no more deserving of this award than you. Thank you for being you, Carter. Congratulations, and from all the Devon Middle School staff, we are all so proud of you. Mrs. Hyde.
I'd like to thank my teachers, aides for helping me over the years. School has always been frustrating for me. I want to especially thank Ms. Hallett, my resource teacher, for always listening to me. She's helped me a lot during my years at Devon Middle School. She always made time for me and helped me understand the situation better. She always made time for me and helped me understand the situation. I feel like grade 8 has always been the best year. I don't get stressed over small things anymore. I learned how to break down my work so I don't get overwhelmed, and it feels good when I accomplish things. I would also like to thank my friends, Ashton Harrison, Burton Brooks, Bethany Powers, Bryson Powers, Nolan, Aviv, for helping me know what true friendship is and not some label above their head. I continue hope I continue working with these kids or friends throughout the years to come. Thank you for this award.
Our next recipient is a grade 8 student at Keswick Valley Memorial, and Jaden Allward will be presented the Turnaround Achievement Award by Megan Fox.
All right, good evening. What an inspiring and powerful evening already. I can hardly wait to hear the rest of the stories. Fortunately, I'm here to talk tonight about our representative or our nominee from Keswick Valley Memorial School, Jaden Allward. This year, I'm the grade 8 homeroom teacher, and I'm very proud to say that I am one of Jaden's teachers. I'm here to give you a bit of a background and perspective on why the staff at KVMS have nominated Jaden for this award, and I can assure you that he has earned and very much deserves it. Jaden is a student who has grown leaps and bounds throughout his years at KVMS. He started here in kindergarten and will finish his grade 8 year here in June. For this reason, many teachers were included in this nomination in order to demonstrate fully his growth as a student and as a person throughout his 9 years. I will briefly summarize our thoughts and experience. When Jaden began at KVMS, Jaden had challenges with self-regulation. He had various triggers, some struggles with emotional management, and the group aspect of the school classroom. His teacher from grades 2 and 3, Mrs. Hargrove, remembers that during those years, he often had struggles with self-regulation, as well as sometimes some oppositional, aggressive, and defiant behavior during most days of the school year. Through it all, Jaden showed an intense interest in building and creating. He would often build with blocks, boxes, Lego, and any materials that he could find. He would use to build the latest gizmo. I can attest he still does this today, as he took home a box from our grade 8 hoodie order. As Jaden progressed throughout elementary school, he continued to struggle with unexpected schedule changes. His response would often be to yell, throw objects and furniture, and run from class. However, we began to see positive changes throughout Jaden's grade 5 year. Because of his hard work, the support of his parents, and the staff at KVMS, Jaden became more self-aware. He was learning how to verbalize what was triggering him, as well as what he needed to do in order to calm. This began to change the game for Jaden. At this point, he still needed adult support, but Jaden collaborated with the teachers. Together, he helped to create a plan that would set him up for success at school. This was the beginning of his turnaround. From that point on, Jaden was consistently learning to identify his triggers. This meant that the adults were able to put supports in place to minimize them and to help him find success. Once he was able to verbalize what the trigger was, what he was feeling, and where he wanted to go to calm, we saw huge improvements in the classroom, and his entire school experience became much more positive. As Jaden continued to progress, he identified KVMS staff members with whom he had strong connections and who he was comfortable with to seek out for support. As he got older, we saw fewer emotional responses, and eventually, the emotional responses minimized in intensity as well. As I mentioned previously, I am Jaden's homeroom teacher, but I also teach him both language arts and math. I can speak to his progress. If I was unaware of his previous challenges in school, I would not believe that he was the same student. Now that Jaden is in grade 8 and has worked so hard to make this progress, not only is he able to handle the stresses of school, but he has become a positive influence and leader. He greets me every morning and always makes sure to tell me to have a good day and give me a high elbow before he leaves. He tells me all kinds of stories and often makes me smile and laugh with his very intuitive sense of humor. Jaden has done an excellent job improving his self-regulation skills. He's now a pleasant and interesting student with whom to converse. He has shown leadership with younger students and even started and runs a lunch hour tag club, all on his own. He is a peer mentor, and many younger students look up to him. Jaden enthusiastically shares his interests with others and loves to contribute to special projects that spark his interest. He is now more understanding and accepting of the ideas of others around him, even if he disagrees, and that is awesome. Jaden's turnaround took a lot of effort, hard work, and personal growth on his part. He is very fortunate to have supportive parents, teachers who are invested in his success, and an awesome group of people rooting for him. But without his own efforts, he would not have seen the success that he currently experiences. He is a consistent student academically, shows significant emotional and trigger management, and now pours back into his school community by being a good example and taking on leadership with younger students. Congratulations, Jaden. This turnaround award is well deserved. Keep growing and pushing yourself to be even better. You have so much potential. I cannot wait to see what challenges you take on next. Congratulations.
So, I would like to thank my teachers, Miss McPhee, Miss Hargrove, Miss Miller, Madame McPhee, Miss Manzer, Miss Scott, Miss Fox, Miss Stewart, Miss Tucker, Miss White, Miss Forbes, Mr. Steves, Mr. Parks, and Mr. Zatt, as well as my parents and grandparents, Stephen and Jeanette Allward, John and Wanda Curtis, and Ford and Jean Allward. And last but not least, my friends, Jillian, Avery, and Quinn. Thanks for being there when I needed support.
Our next recipient goes to school at George Street Middle School in grade 8, and her name is Dora Eskrin Graham. Did I get the middle thing? That'd be right. And here to present the award to Dora is Stephen Stone.
I'd like to take a quick second just before I get to tell a bit about Dora's story here, just to congratulate Lee Gallant. I taught her in grade 8. And Lee, I'm very proud of you. It's awesome to see you today. Sometimes life can be unfair. Sometimes the burdens of life get heaped on us in buckets, bending us, bringing us to the ground. Some never get back up. There are those, however, like many of our award winners here this evening, who struggled under that weight, but were able to push back and stand tall. It may take time, but they stood, they stand. I feel very proud, very privileged to talk about this young lady standing here this evening, Dora Graham. Dora's journey at George Street Middle School started with silence. A typical day in grade 6 is filled with laughter and shrieks, the "I know it" and the "pick me." But that was not Dora. When Dora arrived in our building, she was absolutely silent. She would not speak at all. Ms. Porter, her grade 6 language arts teacher, told me about the time she would sit down and have conversations with her, but the words only flowed one way. Compounding matters was the reality that Dora only came to school occasionally. Her attendance before Christmas was sporadic at best. The only way for her teachers to know what was going on was to look at the only form of expression she was willing to share, her art. Whether it be pieces on canvas or doodles in her notebook, the only insight the teaching staff had into Dora's life was the artwork she shared. Ms. Porter kept pushing, kept talking, and soon the words started to come. By the end of grade 6, Dora was willing to narrate her class's interpretation of Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. Dora carried and built upon the gains that she made during grade 6 when she moved into grade 7. Her teachers described her as being very quiet, not silent, but willing to talk to each one of them. As the year progressed and her comfort grew, Dora became more and more vocal, often answering questions in math class or taking advantage of an opportunity to participate in class discussions in social studies. In language arts class, her strength in writing revealed itself over the course of the year. Her Turning Points essay was submitted for evaluation at the regional essay contest. Her year wasn't perfect, though. As she said in that very Turning Points essay, the impact of the world was hammering down on my head as my old trauma came back to me. I started having more mental breakdowns, crying more, and isolating myself more. I don't know what happened. But, once again, Dora stood tall and found the strength to persevere and push through. Now, I didn't know Dora until this year. And had it not been for some key information that had been shared at our grade 8 transition meetings, I don't think I would have ever known that Dora had faced her share of adversity. Yes, she was shy at the beginning of the year, and yes, most of her responses to me in the first week or two came in the form of quick head nods. But the young lady I got to know over September and into October was and is very funny and talented. She was happy to share and quick to laugh. Maybe it was our shared interest in Stephen King novels. I'm not sure. What is certain, though, was that the silent little girl from grade 6 had made an exit. Now, we all know each day is different. A little surprise waits just around the corner in each one. But with Dora, there are constants too. You will always see her at some point designing a new masterpiece, reading her new best book, which is Dostoevsky, I believe, laughing with her best buds, or being strong and standing proud. Congratulations, Dora.
Oh, jeez.
A wise man once said, "I don't know where I'm going from here, but I promise it won't be boring." Like I was David Bowie, good musician, and a man that is an inspiration to many. Go take a look at his album, Station to Station 2. First of all, I'd like to thank Kingswood for this event and Turnaround Award at the Crown Plaza. Beautiful place. One of the fanciest places I've been to, up there with downtown Montreal. My name is Dora Graham Erskine, and I am a grade 8er at George Street Middle School. I am 14, and my favorite subject is math, excluding the unit algebra. I did not know I was going to get this award up until about 4 weeks ago, and I am still shocked. A better word is speechless. Out of 700 kids at my school, and I was chosen for this opportunity, and I am from the bottom of my heart grateful. This speech is mainly thank yous and cheesy stuff. I would like to thank my teachers who guide me, educate me, and lead me throughout my school years. I cannot talk about them all, but I chose two tonight. Miss Porter, who's over there, she was my grade 6 teacher, as mentioned before, and is one of the kindest and most caring teachers I have ever met. I paint her masterpieces, as she calls them, and have been since grade 6. Thank you for being there for me when I needed it. I have never enjoyed writing, not in the slightest, but there is one teacher who made me appreciate writing. He's the teacher standing beside me, Mr. Stone. He's just so creative and funny, it's hard not to like a language arts class. Mr. Stone has opened me to many new ideas, perspectives, and books. Thank you. There are so many people I could thank, but this is starting to get boring. So my last thank you goes out to my little brother, Cole. He's not here because he'd be tearing through the place, but I digress. My brother is the sweetest and most thoughtful kid ever. I mean, for your level of sweet and thoughtful, guys. Cole is the most important person in my life, and I will always have a spot in my heart for the kid. I love you, and thank you most of all.
Our next recipient is Joseph Breen and goes to school at Leo Hayes High School in grade 12. And here to present Joseph's award to him is Nancy Stairs.
While we were waiting in the line, I got another little shout out to Angie from Joe, who mentioned her as one of his strongest supporters when he was at Devon. So a little more recognition there. So Nancy.
Dinner date this month. I promised him in middle school. If he went through high school and graduated, we go for dinner.
Sounds good. Well, he's made it. So I've had the luxury, and I did have the luxury, it's been a journey of being Joe's counselor from grades 9 through 12 at Leo Hayes. I actually switched letters of the alphabet this year, but I kept him because he's special. And we've been through too much together, I think, to have let you go to somebody else. Along with Joe comes Jenna, his girlfriend, who's also here tonight, and they've been together since grade 9, so although I'm not her counselor, she's been part of the journey also, and one of the strongest supporters. Joe exited middle school kind of on a rough note, and we didn't know what to expect based on what we were told, but like many young adolescents, and I'm going to cry, the anger is the tip of the iceberg. And we saw right away that's not about anger. There was a lot of fear, there's a lot of anxiety, a lot of hopelessness, and some messaging that kind of got to Joe and made him think that he couldn't do it, that he had already forged a path at 14, that he couldn't turn that road around. And it took a lot of adults. His mom is #1 supporter, but it took a school community and a lot of us to carry that hope for you until you could see it in yourself. We turned a little corner, I think, especially in grade 10 when you started to see that there is another way. Joe just recently finished his last credit in Mr. Connor's Learning Center. So he's crossing the stage in June, successful. And on his exit meeting with me, we kind of reflected and laughed at his incidents from grade 8 through 11. I think we counted over 40. But every year there was less and less. He thinks it's 80. I think it was 40 in high school, maybe. It was a lot. Less and less. Next to none in the last year. And he's been a contributing member to our school, an advocate for his peers, a member of our varsity football team, hardworking young man that's committed to making himself a better person, society a better place. And he needed the help from others and to learn the strategies and skills to believe in himself. What else do we want to say? Many cheerleaders at our school help carry you on your journey, and I'll name those of you that you mentioned to me over and over. First, I think we need to thank Miss Walker, homeroom teacher and English teacher in grade 9, who's probably the first to really make you believe in yourself. Ron Gauthier, our child and youth team worker, who taught you the coping skills to help you get through the anxiety. Joe's anxiety was so significant that he was physically ill. And it took a lot of time, a lot of tests to rule out that there's not a whole lot of other things going on. And that anxiety sometimes came out looking like anger, but it wasn't. We also need to thank Ms. McMillan and Mr. Connors and the Learning Center for giving you the academic potential. And I know that Joe, we're keeping this short because I know that Joe doesn't like standing up here. And what did you just say to me? That not everybody needs to know all my business. And they don't, but they do need to know about your successes. Grade 11 was a successful year. You started grade 12 strong. And we had a little setback because his family lost a member, a cousin, a friend, in a tragic way. And Mr. Connors came to see me and said, we're taking a dark road. And nobody would blame him if he had given up at that time, because a lot of us as adults would have given up. Like, how much can one youth handle? But he did it. He got back on the horse. He's fighting the fight. He's setting an example for others. And he's been accepted to New Brunswick Community College. He may defer that for a year just to work and save some more money, but he's doing it and he's forging the path. He believes in himself and he has the tools to make this world a better place. And we've learned from you, and I hope that you've learned from us.
I just want to say thank you to my mom, my dad, Mrs. Stairs, Mrs. Connors, and Mrs. Walker, which she's not here, but I wish she could be. Really, I didn't come prepared, so that's all I got to say. Thank you.
I think I can pick out his girlfriend just because she's the one who's beaming in the audience. Am I right? The red hair. Please stand up. What an influence you're having on him. And he is a wonderful individual. If you could see her face from where I was standing, I could just tell she had this aura about her. So stay together. You guys make a great couple, and I appreciate you supporting him the way you are. Thank you. Our next student is Emily Dara, and she goes to school at Leo Hayes High School. She's in grade 12, and here to present Emily's award to her is Fred Connors.
Hi, my name is Fred Connors. I'm the SPR of Alternative Education at Leo Hayes High School, and I think when you wake up every morning and you're thankful for your job, then you have a pretty good life. And I'm so fortunate at Leo Hayes that we have an administration that allows us to run our own alt site so that we can have these experiences and provide opportunities for students that may not have those otherwise. When the referral came down for Emily, it was a really nice girl, super nice girl, very smart, but just can't seem to find her way. And it was pretty accurate, and she came down, and not an uncommon theme, but her heart was so big and she had to give so much to everybody else that she had just lost the ability to take care of herself. And she ran into some issues. We don't need to get into all those here, but it was very difficult for her, and we were worried about her. And it's 2.5 years that we worked together, and it's really difficult when they graduate because she was so excited and happy, and Miss McMillan and I are sitting there like, oh, it sucks, like we're gonna miss her so much. And it was amazing because she was really struggling, and Miss McMillan and I said, well, one day she's gonna hit rock bottom, and either she's gonna hit and stick or she's gonna hit and bounce. And boy, she bounced some high. So between grade 11 and grade 12, stop crying. You're going to make me cry, and I don't do that, ever. So between 11 and 12, Emily left, and this other Emily came back. And she walked in the door, and she was a totally transformed person. And I think Tyler knows part of the reason why she bounced so high, her boyfriend. And she came back with this incredible aura about her. Creative, confident, showing her intelligence and proud of it. She was driven. She knew what she wanted to do. We had a course called Senior Project, and she decided that she was just going to rebuild her whole entire spare bedroom in her house. So her and her boyfriend went to work, and thanks to her mom for letting her do that. Nice benefits from that. But Emily just came back as a totally different person. And for the teachers in the room, you don't choose to teach, you're born to teach, and you have to have a certain personality. And Emily has that. And Emily will do fantastic. She currently has a full-time job. She's now a graduate. She's heading down the path she wants to head down. She's going to take a year to work, get some things figured out, what she truly wants to do. Guarantee you that whatever it is, it's going to involve her incredibly large, caring heart and her incredibly intelligent mind. So congratulations, Emily, on bouncing really high.
I'm not one for public speaking, but I'm gonna give it a go. I really did put my entire family and everybody surrounding me through hell, and I'm so thankful that you all stuck around. And I'm really thankful for Mr. Connors for always pushing me through, and Miss McMullen too. I would not be here today if it weren't for them helping me with addiction and struggling with suicidal thoughts, and I'm just really grateful.
Brian, we need at least another 25 years because it's going to take that long to recognize all of the future educator award recipients, because every one of you who have been up here already deserve that award. You can hear the passion in their voices, and it's just a remarkable story. I always enjoy listening to the students, but I also very much enjoy listening to the teachers. And what a career you've chosen. You're right. You're born to do what you do, and we appreciate that you chose that career, all of you. Our next recipient is, that's why you're standing by, Fred, because you're up again. Our next recipient is Adam Smith. He is a grade 12 student at Leo Hayes High School, and again, here to present the award is Fred Connors.
You really have to clear your throat a lot at this event, I've come to learn. So Adam, thank you very much for asking me to do this for you. Adam came to the Learning Center. A lot of anger, didn't quite know who he was, trying to figure things out. I don't know if he loves the woods, but he definitely loved the woods behind Leo Hayes. Great bonfire builder. But he used to, then we started to get him to come to class. He started to feel a little bit of confidence, and then he had what I called Frankenbike, because he's an incredibly gifted mechanic. And he used to just, a bike had parted break, he'd find another bike, he'd make a new bike. So we had this very different bike that was actually the same bike that would arrive all the time. And Adam would ride his bike in snowstorms. I'd fall on the ice coming in, and he'd be riding on his bike by me like, hey, how you doing, Mr. Connors? But one of the most humble, polite individuals that I've ever had the privilege of teaching. Just an exceptional person, fantastic parents. We had to have some very difficult emotional meetings with Adam to try to get him to where he was. But it's not an analogy. You don't always get to see the turnaround. We know exactly when the turnaround happened, and it had to do with the bus. I know, oh my God, he's saying up here, please don't tell the bus story, but I'm gonna give them a brief version, because it is the turnaround moment. So Adam was kind of going through some struggles and trying to get some things figured out, and he was on the bus. And there's a lot of a story that leads up to it, but anyway, at some moment, Adam decided that the best thing to do is to open up the back door and jump off the bus. So off he went, and where did he go to but the woods? And so I had to call his mom and dad and say, look guys, like, Adam jumped off the bus. And it's like, I'm not being figurative, he actually jumped off the bus. Where's he at? I don't know, he's in the woods, but we'll find him sometime. So that led into a summer of a lot of thinking for Adam. And Adam came back a totally different person, very driven. He had a full-time job. He was taking time off his work to finish his education. Knew that when he was done, he was going to go right back out to the work world. He's been gainfully employed since the day he finished. He's a highly valued employee, and he has all the skills that we saw when he didn't know who he was, that he does have now that he does know who he is, but he has a boatload of confidence that is going along with it. So we're very, very proud. So I know we talk a lot about the bus incident, but it's remarkable because I'll tell you exactly when the turnaround happened. Because when he jumped off the bus, he was a boy, and when his feet hit the ground, he was a man. And we are very, very proud of him and what he has become. Congratulations, Adam.
I want to say thank you to everyone that's here tonight, all the other Turnaround Achievement Award winners, and congratulations on that, everyone. I want to thank my parents, Mr. Connors, Miss McMillan, Mr. Davis, even though he's not here tonight, Mr. McMillan either. My girlfriend has been there for me through a lot of hard times, and thank you all for coming tonight and supporting me, and thank you all.
Our next recipient is Tyler Sherwood, a student at Cambridge Narrows Community School in grade 12, and here to present the award is Amber Bishop.
Good evening, everyone. We were standing in line and Tyler leaned over and went, "It's short, right? You made it short." And I did. I did, because I knew this boy standing up on the stage. So Tyler's one of our graduates this year, and I know I speak for all CNCS, Cambridge Narrows Community School, when I say that, Tyler, you've really impressed us all. I've only been the principal at Cambridge Narrows for the past 2 years, and when you're a new principal and you land in a new building, you're very quickly told who to keep your eye on. And Tyler Sherwood was a name that came to me, and that I was told to keep my eye on him. Well, I kept my eye on Tyler. I'm going to share with you what I saw. I saw a young man who was always willing to help out. I saw a young man who had a devilish grin, which you'll all see tonight. And unfortunately, perhaps I saw the worst fault that Tyler has. He's a tremendous Leafs fan. I understand that these qualities may not have been the ones that would have been listed a few years back, but what I can tell you is that the few times I've had Tyler in my office, he's been there to help me solve a problem rather than to create a problem. When Tyler's called into the office, he brings his nervous grin with him. And I think because it's a little bit of, coming back to the office, I'm definitely getting in trouble, he usually sits down and giggles just a bit. Well, Tyler, you're off to the military. And I'm afraid the only worry I have for you is that giggle is going to make you drop and give a lot of people 20. Tyler, when I asked your teachers about you, to describe you, because I've only known you for a couple of years, Miss Allen was quick to tell me how polite and eager you are to please in her classes in industrial arts. Mr. Wilson, your basketball coach, commented on how independent you've become, looking out for yourself, your future, and your friends. And Bonnie Jean, our custodian, said that you are her #1 go-to whenever she needs help. We are so proud of you, Tyler, at CNCS. I know I speak for Mom and Dad and Graham in the back. Everyone's very proud of you tonight. And I want to be the first Canadian to thank you for giving your service for our great country.
I
just like to thank everybody for being here today, and that's it, I guess.
Emma Gallant, please step forward. Emma is a student at Chipman Forest Avenue School, grade 12, and here to present the award to Emma is Steve Hashey.
I've written this about probably 6, 8, 10 times. I'm a little bit big on detail, so I will be obviously looking at this a lot. But distinguished guests, parents, and of course, the big welcome and congratulations to all the award winners here tonight, because this is about you. So how did Emma find herself up here on stage? Well, you see, I was going to call Emma's mom and get a little of the backstory, but then that would be a whole lot of waterworks, and because they've gone through a lot, obviously, to get her to this point. But I'm going to tell it to you from my story as an educator. All that I would see in the building, if you will, on a day-to-day basis. She came to our school in grade 6. We're a grade 6 to 12 school, and I teach in the high school level. And so grade 6, grade 7, grade 8 were a bit of a struggle, mostly grade 8 in particular. That's when she dealt with a lot of her anxieties and her bullying and so forth that took place. She didn't come back into our building again until grade 9. And it was the second half, basically, it was shortly after March break, I believe, and I got to teach her grade 9 physical education. Because of that difficult time, and the relentless bullying and so forth, she dealt with all the anxiety and everything that comes with it. Her generation, much like all of us, have dealt with some sort of bullying, but her generation also deals with cyberbullying, and that's a whole other monster. So here's this quiet, timid, anxious young lady trying to get herself an education and deal with all the distractions, noise, and bullying, if you will. And as her teacher, I found it difficult to getting to know her. I'm very much preaching to the choir here, because as those of you that have influence on youth, you know it's all about building relationships. So trying to get to know this girl was a bit of a challenge. I wanted to find out what made her tick. I wanted to find out her interests, what were her passions, and so forth. Well, as time went on, I discovered that she likes the color pink. Disappointed she didn't wear any pink tonight. But she does, she'll tell you that. She loves makeup, loves designer stuff, likes purses, clothing, and more purses. Maybe I should talk to her about some fashion, because as I was leaving the house tonight, my family was sitting down for our dinner, and we host international students, so my family of 6 were sitting down for dinner, and my oldest boy, he said, "Dad, what are you wearing? What is that?" Because as a phys ed specialist, I never wear a jacket, if you will. He said, "What's that suit?" I said, "That's not really a suit, it's just a jacket." "What is that material?" So I think I need to speak to Emma a little bit about fashion, and maybe hair, because a former colleague who is now a principal of a school for only the past 2 years, I won't mention her name, said, "How many years? You must be just about ready to retire." I said, "I only have 20 years in." "That's it?" And I think it was a dig, because I get the gray hair, which I'm always reminded of. So maybe I could learn a bit more about hair as well. So Emma is graduating this year. She'll be attending college in the fall in Moncton, and we've had some great conversations. She's risen above all of her challenges and come out of her shell. She's got so much confidence, and obviously very resilient now. I can carry on full-length conversations with this young lady. I learned how she saves her hard-earned money from the local coffee shop. I don't want to say the name, because I don't want to promote any particular coffee shop over another. She talks about all the money she earns with tips and so forth, so that she can spend the money on purses. Now, I don't want to embarrass her about the whole purse collection, but it's worth more than my wardrobe, my car, my lawnmower, etc. But I mean, good for her. She's definitely worked for it. So I'm amazed that this once quiet and shy, very much introverted, much like myself, that's why I struggle with this. And she said, "Do I really have to speak?" I said, "Yeah, you do. But keep it short and sweet, just like I'm trying to." Very introverted, has to work at a coffee shop. Now think about this. Picture yourself. You go into a coffee shop. Okay, are you there? She's there most of the time working by herself. It has a drive-through. So this one young lady deals with anxiety and so forth, looks after people at the counter, people in the drive-through, and people that probably still haven't had their morning coffee yet. We know what that's like. So, she's there every day taking care of business. Every day taking care of business. Never mind. I know one thing for sure, I couldn't do it. Multitasking, dealing with the public, and so forth. So in closing, I was honored and humbled, to say the least, when she asked me to attend this ceremony. This is my second one I've attended. Wonderful, wonderful ceremony that's been put on, and as Rose has attested to all night, how 25 years later it's still going strong and still growing, if you will. I guess I didn't realize, having all those conversations with her, trying to get to know her, words of encouragement, even just trying to get her to smile, because every day would be such a struggle for her, actually meant something. So you educators, thankless job. I'm preaching to the choir again, but thank you for what you guys do, and congratulations, Emma, and very proud of you and what the future holds.
I would just like to thank everyone who believed in me and saw my potential when it was really hard for me to see it myself. And I'd like to thank all the staff at CFAS for always being so supportive and comforting when I actually got enough courage to return to the school. And I'd also like to thank Mr. Hashi, because he was a really positive influence on my life, and just every morning talked to me and asked me how I was doing. And also my mom and my dad for pushing me to do the best that I could do and pushing me out of bed in the morning. And my boyfriend, because he went through a lot of the same struggles that I did, so it's just nice having somebody that I can talk to about that. And I'm just super honored to be receiving this for everything that I've gone through, and I'm just, so thank you, and congrats to everyone else.
Emma, you and I'll have to compare our purse collection and shoes and dresses. Our next recipient is Braden Colford, and Braden goes to school at Central New Brunswick Academy in grade 12, and here to present his award is Stephen Carson. And as they're making their way forward, I will remind everybody that tomorrow on CBC Radio at 7:40, you'll be able to hear more of Braden's story.
Okay, welcome everybody. Before I begin, I just want to congratulate Emma Marie, who's also from our school this evening. So Braden's story is a little unique. He's here for a little bit of a different kind of background. So just bear with me while I try to give this story some justice, and to do that, there's a little bit of context involved, so I know it's going to be a little long. I began working at Central New Brunswick Academy in 2017, a school most of us have never heard of, and even more so, in a place no one could even guess on a map. In fact, Google Maps has no idea where we are. It was my dream. Ironically, Braden Colford was the first student I ever had to discipline. He was, let's say, less than pleased with me for a bit that day. Oh well, that's the joys of teaching, right? In hindsight, it's ironic that Braden holds this title, because who knew what kind of journey we'd go on together that year. You hear the stories that teaching becomes so much more than teaching, and that year, Braden taught me that lesson. It was a day in November, and that normally nonchalant, quiet, and a somewhat sneaky kid looked at me and said, "I don't feel well." He said his head hurt and he felt really dizzy. I just passed it off as a normal teenage complaint and told him to go get some water. That was the last day I saw him for nearly a month. I'll play that day over in my head for the rest of my life. I wonder if it hadn't been a naive 25-year-old in his first year of teaching, if something could have been done differently. I wonder if I could have saved him from the absolute nightmare he endured for nearly 6 months. That forged a bond that profoundly impacted us both. In less than a year, I learned that teaching isn't just being a teacher. Braden Colford is much more than just another student to me, just as the student you're here with is to you. Braden would describe himself as someone who didn't really care. Mediocrity was practically a brag-worthy accomplishment for him. He didn't care if he missed a day at school or if his marks were low. He just wanted to get by, be a teenager, and move out of the big city of Doketown. Braden didn't seem to have many goals. He was happy being average. He was polite enough, but you wouldn't have placed bets on him getting up and helping someone out if they needed it. Certainly not the first, anyways.
In November, after his episode at school, he ended up in the hospital where they spent months testing him to ultimately put him into Stan Cassidy with the hopes of rehabilitation without any definitive answers. My understanding is that the accepted theory today is that a virus attacked his brainstem. I say theory because there are still no definitive answers, and that's to put it simple at best. I can't even begin to explain what exactly went wrong. He lost everything a young boy wants: the ability to walk well, if at all, to see his friends, to go play hockey, or even go to school. He could barely write, barely process, and his speech was so slurred that there were days I was with him that I was too afraid to acknowledge to him that I didn't have a clue what he was trying to say to me. I was supposed to visit him at the hospital to tutor him, but after a few short hours of trying, what I saw was terrifying. This young man, filled with potential, couldn't even put pen to paper. He was stuck in a wheelchair, horrified to have a teacher who felt he was sick enough to visit him 5 times a week and play video games. Mind you, he somehow still had the talent to kick my butt at that. After having visited for a few months, we were pretty comfortable with the whole ordeal of trying to find laughs in the midst of some very dark times that I, to this day, can't even begin to understand. I got to know him quite well. We shared a similar experience in that I was also sick as a kid. Doing the most basic human functions became an obstacle for him. I remember looking him in the eyes and seeing the pain and embarrassment that he needed to ask for help with those things. Enough so that he practically kicked me out after a 7-hour visit. Slowly, I began to see a 16-year-old boy become no longer content with being mediocre. I saw a kid being tossed to the side and still never losing sight of the goal, to get himself back into a chair at school. He was headed to Toronto to get answers, and unbeknownst to him and his family, I had a ticket bought to go see him over March break. I'll never forget the text he sent the day before the break. I'm coming home. I didn't really understand how he was headed home after just a few days there. Unbeknownst to me, he quietly returned to school a bit one day shortly thereafter. He played volleyball in the gym, and I had no idea this was happening. At the start of class, I saw him coming down the hallway. It was like seeing a ghost. The last time I saw him maybe take 1 step. My hero isn't a man who saved a bunch of lives. My hero isn't a woman who saved a bunch of lives. My hero isn't my mom or my best friend. My hero is a young man who walked back to school more accomplished and more determined than ever before. My hero is a young man who inspires me and those around him. He empowers me and changes the lives that surround him. My hero came from the most unexpected place. He was a 16-year-old, unfocused, afraid, and lacking the motivation to rise above being anything other than mediocre. He has made me a better person, and the beauty of it is, he doesn't understand it, nor believes it's fair for anyone to say he's anyone's hero. My hero is Braden Colford, and while a unique story to tonight's setting, Braden faced adversity that we all fear. It just happens to be an adversity that uniquely defines his story this evening. He's become class president, caught up on nearly 6 months of missed academics, and has returned to all of the activities he loves, including leading his local hockey team to victory. 1 year ago today, I thought I may have to carry Braden across the stage to see him finish his journey at CNBA. Today, he's leading the way across that very stage and ready to take on the future, which begins with him going to UMB to become an engineer. Braden is armed with an experience that has changed him as a human being, and it is without a shadow of a doubt that he will use that experience to change the lives in the world around him. That young man, content with being average, has become a blossoming leader, ready to empower himself and those around him. I am proud to represent him in front of you all today, and as much as he would deny it, he is my hero. Thank you.
So thank you, everyone. I would like to start by thanking the Turnaround Achievement Award Committee for giving me and all the other recipients the chance to be recognized for our hard work and courage. I would also like to thank Mr. Carson for all his support over the past 2 years. It really means a lot, and I wouldn't be here today without it. I would also like to thank my parents and family for being there for me. And my girlfriend, who when I was unable to do most things, was always there for me. When I look back on what I experienced, I no longer see it as something that was terrible or anything along those lines, but instead something that changed my life for the better. When you do that, this is when your life will change. Thank you.
Our next recipient is Emma Murray, and Emma goes to school at Central New Brunswick Academy. She's in grade 12, and here to present the award to Emma is Lynn Munn.
As Mr. Carson just said, Central New Brunswick Academy is not a very big school. That says a lot about the fact that we chose to fight to have 2 recipients tonight. I've been lucky enough to teach both of them. Congratulations to Braden. He's been in my classes all along, and he deserves it as well. But I'm going to talk about Emma. Emma began her journey at Central New Brunswick Academy when she came to live with a local family. She became very involved in the social life of high school at a new place and was not so interested in school attendance or school work. And basically, we put in a lot more work than she did, trying to force her to do any work. She struggled in class. Her grades reflected that. She liked our little community, and although it meant moving from house to house, family to family, she decided she wanted to stay with us. And I think she found herself a pretty good family along the way. In the last year and a half, she's become more invested in her school career. This year, she's working on perfect attendance. She is retaking courses that she was not successful in, but that she needs for the course that she chooses to follow. She has accepted responsibility for her schoolwork, and she participates in school activities. She demonstrates organizational and leadership skills within student-led activities and displays a great attitude and a great school spirit. She is a member of our first ever cheerleading squad at our school, and that means that she's someone my daughter looks up to. She's a role model with her behavior, with her attitude. She supports and she stands up for the younger teammates as they all learn together. She isn't just involved in fun activities at CMBA. You can count on Emma to be there till the end. She's not gonna ditch out on the gritty work. She's gonna be there for cleanup, she's gonna be there for setup, you name it, she is there. She always shows the utmost respect for any staff members. In my class, happens to be one of the ones that she did to retake this year. She rocked it, by the way. I'm also her cooperative education teacher. And she has a placement that has allowed her to really go into what she wants to do with her life. She's discovered that she really does enjoy helping others. I've heard nothing but good reports from all of her supervisors and from all of the clients. I'm very proud to be here with Emma tonight, and you definitely deserve this, girl.
I'm really nervous, but I want to start by thanking Miss Munn for nominating me for this award and for not giving up on me even though, as she said, I did not show up to school or care that much about my grades. I would also like to thank all the teachers and the staff at Central New Brunswick Academy who seen the good in me even though I did not see it in myself. Also to my amazing family and friends who have pushed me to strive and become the person I work to become. I would also like to thank my second family who I can proudly say are by my side today and who have done nothing but support me along the journey that I've went through this year. I would not be here tonight and I could not put into words how thankful I am for you and your whole family for bringing me into your house and never giving up on me through any challenge that I faced. And once again, I would just like to thank everybody, and I would also like to congratulate everyone else who is winning an award tonight.
right is our next recipient, and Julia goes to school at Minto Memorial High. She's in grade 12, and here to present the award is Nelson Arsenault.
Good evening, everyone. The night got off to a good start, and whereas Maxine McConnell, she set a standard tonight that made, I think, everyone nervous about getting up here. So Maxine, great job. Standing next to me is Julia Wright. When I reflect back as a new a teacher, I was at that ceremony 25 years ago, and when I think back, that student is a man in his early 40s now. And so it really is a testament of time that this is an outstanding achievement for all of our youth. But as an educator, I think it is as valuable for us to see the growth. So standing next to me is Julia. Julia is a grade 12 student at Minto Memorial High School, and she has a great support system here tonight. Her nanny and grandpa Pitty Power are here, her mom Lisa, and her boyfriend Daniel. I first met Julia 13 years ago. I was a teacher at Minto Elementary Middle School, and I can recall this little blonde girl running around the playground and the cafeteria, and I thought, who is that? And I asked others, who is that? Because she was really a force to be reckoned with and whatnot. And Julia is an amazing young girl. Julia has experienced some emotional trauma over the years, but she is a student that has picked herself up and has persevered forward. And Julia, let's do a little poll from the audience. If you've ever fallen in your life and have had to pick yourself up, raise your hand. So we're in good company. We're in good company tonight. So overcoming the obstacles, Julia is a friend to many. Julia is often found in the hallways, and she is probably could lead inclusive education. She makes sure that every student counts. She can often be heard in the hallways correcting students. That's just not right. Or we might hear her say, that's okay, bud, come with me. So the characteristics for such a young lady to have, we know that she's going to move forward and she's going to be a leader. When my daughter graduated from Minto High School 2 years ago, she came home and said, you are going to love Julia Wright. And she was correct. I love Julia Wright. And her teachers do as well. As I said, Julia believes in all students. She looks out for the students who are, perhaps struggling in areas. She assists. She still is a little bit late. I think, Julia, you have 3 tardies that you're serving maybe tomorrow. We might skip that one. She loves snacks. Julia can often be seen knocking on the door. Do you have any snacks? But she also works. She arrives at school in the morning. She's the slowest driver that drives in the parking lot of Minto High School. She's the slowest to leave, which is, I'm thankful for that. But she works. She works at a nursing home. So she knows the importance of work. She has a strong work ethic. She works late into the night and then arrives at school, ready to do a full day of learning. In the fall, Julia will be attending the University of New Brunswick, studying, taking a degree in chemistry, a major in chemistry, a degree in science. So we are very proud of Julia and all that she has accomplished, but we are most proud of the way she handles herself and how great she is to people and to her fellow classmates. So congratulations, Julia. And this is for you. I'm all thumbs tonight, I apologize.
It's okay.
Wow, this is a really big honor. I'd like to thank everyone that's here tonight because this is just such an amazing thing, and I'd like to thank the people that made this all happen, because this is just an amazing experience, really. I'd also like to thank my mom. She's like my rock, you know. I don't know what I'd do without her. She's helped me through so much, and I don't know, I just love her so much. And I'd also like to thank my grandparents, who are also here tonight. They taught me how important it is to have an education and how far it can take you in life, because they didn't get the proper education they needed, and they had to work twice as hard to get where they are now. And you know, they're great role models in my life, and without them, I don't know, they just play such a big role. And I'd also like to thank my boyfriend Daniel, who's also here tonight. He's such a great support, and I love you. And wow. I'd also like to thank Mr. Arsenault here, who's been a fantastic principal and just the greatest guy. He's honestly. And I'd also like to thank a few teachers, like Miss Miller, who gave me a true appreciation for the language, like English and whatnot. And I'd also like to thank Miss Livingston, who inspired me to go into science, because I love the way she teaches it, the way she explains it. I don't know, it just really made me want to pursue a career in that sort of field. And I'd also like to thank Miss Hersey, who started high school with me. She was a new teacher when I came into grade 9. So me and her were both pretty new. She's not there right now because she's at home being a mother to her beautiful baby girl, Sylvie. So I'm super proud of her for that. And she was my math teacher, and she gave me a love for math. Like, I love math and science, stuff like that. But yeah, without you guys, I don't know, I wouldn't be up here today, and I'd like to thank you all. Thank you so much.
Caitlin Needham is our next recipient, and Caitlin is from Enterprise, grade 12, and here to present the award is Peter Hobbs. And Peter, if I recall, you were an Educator Award recipient just last year. Congratulations.
So, Cynthia Fletcher, our guidance counselor, is going to be presenting Caitlin the award tonight. However, she's unable to make it. She sends her regrets, but unfortunately she's ill and can't come in. So I'm going to read her words. It's my absolute pleasure this evening to introduce Caitlin Needham as one of our Enterprise Program recipients of this year's Turnaround Achievement Awards. Caitlin originally came from a small town in Ontario before heading east to New Brunswick. Life was not easy for Caitlin growing up. She lived in a toxic home, consumed with physical and mental abuse, along with substance addictions. Caitlin has also struggled with her own demons of addiction, becoming a full-blown addict by the age of 14. Kate's mom passed away 2 years ago, which was obviously a difficult time in her life. But in her words, she said, "It was my reality check and a true learning experience for myself." Since then, she has completely turned her life around. She's done extremely well in school and stays physically fit. She will be graduating in June and plans on attending NBCC, focusing on youth care and addiction. I want to let you know, Caitlin, and these are Cynthia's words, that the sky is your limit, and I'm sure your future will be happy and successful. We are all very proud of you. I will end with a quote from one of Caitlin's writing pieces. "There is always a rainbow at the end of a storm, and my rainbow is amazing times and memories. They have been a blessing in disguise." Congratulations, Caitlin.
I unfortunately did not come fully prepared with a speech tonight, but I would like to take a minute to thank especially my Aunt Tina for taking me in at a very vulnerable time 2 years ago. She had a huge impact on molding me into the woman I am today. And the Morris and Barwise family for taking me in on a period of time when I really needed it. You have been outstanding to me, and I cannot thank you enough. And I'd like to thank my brothers, and especially all the people who made this happen today. You don't know how good it feels to be recognized for the hard work that you put into yourself. Thank you.
Our next recipient standing by is Zachary Northrup. Thanks for your patience, Zach. And here to present the award is Jen Pauley, and Zachary attends Enterprise as a grade 12 student.
Ready? Zachary Northrup is a good old boy from Keswick. Did you ever think 2 years ago that we would be standing here on a stage like this honoring you? Well, I did. As you know, I'm never wrong. In a few short weeks, we will be honoring you again as you receive your graduation diploma on yet another stage. As the saying goes, I hope you don't let all the stardom go to your head. But in your case, I hope that's actually where it goes. Because I want you to know how proud we all are of you, and we believe you can and will do great things with your life. I met Zach in September 2017. He was a rough and tough party boy who preferred to be on a tailgate or four-wheeler out back Keswick, somewhere other than a classroom doing math and science for 2 hours. He describes himself as having been a good student at Keswick Ridge and Nashwauk 6 Middle School. Then everything started falling apart in grade 9. Within 2 weeks, he had started smoking pot, and soon he was failing class after class. In July of 2017, Zach's dad, Timmy, passed away suddenly. Zach started drinking heavily and regularly, as well as numbing his feelings with harder drugs like cocaine. All of the drugs and alcohol made him feel good, at least temporarily, and that's probably why he can't even remember how he got into Enterprise. In 2017, we both experienced tragedies. Zach's dad died on July 18th, and my mother passed away on September 9th. It is difficult to lose a parent no matter how old you are. The combination of grief and humor somehow bonded us together, and we shared stories that either made us both want to cry or laugh, or both, depending on the day. Zach has a heart of gold, and his inner strength inspired me every time we talked. Although he was inspiring me, my love of math and science was not inspiring him. Instead, he continued to party every day, and often came to class hungover or just coming down from a high. No matter how many times I would wake him up or constantly nag him, he never got mad. Of course, he still didn't get much work done, but at least he would keep his eyes open and stare at the page, or we'd get sidetracked and have another heart-to-heart chat. Needless to say, he didn't graduate in 2018 as planned. In Zach's own words, the drinking and drugs ruined everything. I was not the same person. I said and did mean things. You just can't see it when you're in it. In September 2018, thankfully, Zach returned to school determined to finish this year. Unfortunately, he was still partying too much on the weekends, and by Christmas, he was physically sick of being sick all the time. Zach's family also had enough, so they held an intervention, and his cousin Jamie and her husband Chris gave him the option to either come live with them or to go to Portage. Zach moved in with them that day. Jamie drove Zach to school every day. He describes her as stern, but funny and sensible. And Chris is just a cool guy and one of his best friends. Jamie and Chris have 2 children. Quinn is 3 years old, and Zach says she follows him around, calling him Uncle Zeke. Levi is 2 years old, and Zach says he's just a cute kid who makes us all laugh. That environment allowed Zach to complete more work in 4 months than he had in 1.5 years. Zach completed his coursework on April 30th and went to work as a roofer on May 1st. He will officially graduate from the Enterprise Center on June 13th. Zach's future looks bright now. He said he feels amazing, and with a clear head, he's able to do a lot of thinking. He enjoys roofing work, but he might want to go to NBCC to take the heavy machinery course. He said his dad looked pretty cool on an excavator. So we might see Zach posing for selfies on an excavator too. Either way, I am so very proud of you. I also want you to know that although I won't be there every day to nag or scold you about your potty mouth, I am going to continue to be a regular at Jamie's counter at the North Side Market, the Mom's Goodie Jar, for her delicious keto-friendly treats. So I'll be keeping tabs on you wherever you go. I look forward to seeing you walk across the stage at graduation. Thank you, Jamie and Chris, for everything you've done for Zach. Thank you, Zach, just for being you again. You've made your dad very proud.
Thank you. So first of all, a huge shout out goes out to Miss Polly. There was a time where I'd come to class and sit there and put my head down, but not 10 minutes into class I'd hear shoes coming. Wake. And I couldn't help but be nice. Also, a big shout out goes out to Mr. Hobbs. I mean, without his help, I would have never got to here. And Jamie Lee and Chris took me in time that I needed it the most. I really appreciate it, guys.
A lot of good people in this world. Many of them are among us tonight, so we thank you all. Our next recipient is Wyatt Fanjoy, and again, he is an Enterprise student in grade 12, and here to present his award, we welcome back Peter Hobbs.
Wyatt has overcome a tremendous number of obstacles in his life to get where he is today. Wyatt's mother passed away when he was young, and afterwards he spent time moving from place to place until his grandparents took him in. Wyatt struggled in school. In his words, he felt he was incapable of learning, and he felt he struggled with a sense of belonging. As he grew up, Wyatt searched for ways to deal with his past trauma and what he felt as being sick mentally. This led him to begin experimenting with drugs. He described his drug use as a way to escape and cope. Before long, he descended into a full-blown and crippling addiction to various hard drugs. Wyatt spent his years from the age of 15 to 19 living with close friends and in and out of rehab facilities and jail. Last school year, Wyatt became determined to change his life, and he again entered Portage, a rehab facility, this time on his own will. He feared what the future would hold for him if he continued down his path of addiction and self-destruction, and he was desperate for a change. Just a quick shout out to the people from Portage. I know there's some in the building today. Hey, back there, you guys. Wyatt stresses how it was the things that he learned during his time there at Portage and the people who helped him at the facility that have made such a big difference in his life. Wyatt successfully completed the program and returned back to school in September, and he is now on track to graduate with the class of 2019. Wyatt reflected on his post-rehab life, writing, "I still struggle with life after. Life isn't easy, but I feel I'm destined to do great things as I grow and learn from my past. Don't get me wrong, I still have my bad days, weeks, and months, but you gotta know how to make the best with what you have." Wyatt is eager to give back to the community and longs for a chance to help others. He's drawn towards a desire to make a positive change in the world. He's looking at becoming a youth counselor after he graduates, and he feels like it would be a way to help other young people whose footsteps he had once been in. It was just over a week ago that Wyatt's brother was in an accident. Wyatt had been doing really well. Things were going well. He was finding success with us at the center. He was on track to graduate. He'd been, informed of this award. He had a job, and everything was going great for him. Then he received the devastating news that his brother had been in a bike accident and had broken his neck and was paralyzed. Wyatt dropped everything and rushed to his brother's side at St. John Hospital. He spent day and night bringing his positive energy and motivational charm to his brother's bedside. Wyatt knew he needed to remain strong for his brother, and he fought back his old demons as he tended to his brother and encouraged him. Wyatt remained optimistic despite the doctor's prognosis, and miraculously his brother began to regain some movement in his legs. When I spoke to Wyatt this morning, he was sure to point out to me all the positive things that had come out of such a desperately negative situation. And I believe it's this attitude and positivity that will carry Wyatt forward to become successful in his future. So, congratulations, man.
Not good at speeches, but I'd like to thank family back there for being there for me when I didn't have anyone. You know, I was on my own a lot of the time, and I felt, like I said, hopeless and like, no, so I didn't have a sense of belonging. I was, you know, out, I was sick. I was never, yeah. I just like to thank Portage, thank my mom, Braden, Dylan, Dawson. Miss you guys all, and I'd like to thank Andrea, Mo, Roy for being here. I love all you guys. Shout out to the people that are here. Thank you for taking your time to come and see us.
Well-deserved shout-outs going out to Portage again tonight. Thank you. Eric Trottier is a grade 12 student at Harvey High School, and here to present his award is Tina Noble.
First of all, Wyatt, your former family at Harvey High can't be more proud of you, and I bring you wishes from the staff at Harvey High and Ms. Collicutt congratulating you for this achievement. And it is our hope that you and Raiden both receive your diplomas this year. Brian, Denise, my personal thanks for allowing my daughter to be a mentor or do her practicum at Kingswood under you both 2 summers ago. And tonight it's my honor, my privilege to introduce Eric Trottier. And I don't have an elaborate story because Eric came to us from Ontario, having been out of school for 3 years. He came to live with his aunt, who was new to our school as well, and he wanted to get his diploma. So working alongside with Iona Brown, and creating our own enterprise program at Harvey High. Eric started at Harvey High December 7th. He came to us with 2 grade 9 credits. He had not been in school for 3 years. Between December 7th and March 14th, Eric came to the office 3 mornings a week and completed all of the requirements, all of the modules that needed to be done to earn his diploma this year. And since March, Eric has been volunteering at a special care home in Harvey and will be walking across our stage in June earning his diploma. And we are so proud of you, Eric.
Like I said before tonight, I'm not good at speeches. I just want to thank everybody, especially Andrea, Miss Noble, Miss Collicutt, Iona Brown, and everybody from Enterprise helping me with this. I want to thank my parents, my mom and dad, my family for helping me through this, and all the friends I've made throughout here, and yeah, that's about it. Thank you.
We have one last recipient who unfortunately is unable to be with us tonight. His name is Brady Richard, and Richard, and he is a grade 12 student at Minto Memorial High School. I just wanted to say a couple of things. What I've gotten in the habit of doing, just because I love the support network that is before me tonight, and I usually just jot down some of, and I won't say names, but so of course Portage right off the top. You know, thank you to Portage, and we heard that throughout, so I won't duplicate, but Portage, of course teachers, it goes without saying, school mom, second mom, Cole up in heaven, Kingswood for sure, parents, boyfriend, family, friend, friends, grandparents, brother, dad, girlfriend, second family, aunt. Like, I just, there are no words to say thank you. But know that in those two words, there is a lot of meaning and a lot of feeling behind those words. And I speak them on behalf of everyone that you've helped here tonight. What you've done, your accomplishments here tonight are so evident here on this stage. And again, it goes back to Brian and how you started this with Alex and Dr. Barry Miller. And I just thank you on behalf of all of us for doing something that is so significant, changing the lives of people. So stay on track, you guys, because you're doing an amazing work, and what we've heard tonight, we just are so encouraged by your stories and want you to continue on that path. The other thing that I like to say is that these awards, because of you and the organizing committee and this event, have become so coveted that other students are like, I want one of those. And I'm going to turn my life around in order to get one. And that's just a dream. We could only hope that every year we get these nominations, and they're like numerous. We had 20 recipients tonight, and over the years, nearly 1,000 students and nearly $400,000 in scholarships. So again, I just want to thank everyone who has any part in the changing of lives. It just doesn't get any more powerful than that. We're almost at the end of our night, but the important part of tonight is just about to begin, and it's the scholarship program. Now, in addition to our special awards, each grade 12 student continuing their education will receive a $1,000 scholarship from Kingswood. A certificate confirming this scholarship will be presented to each student as they move through the receiving line. Now, since the inauguration of this program 24 years ago, we have honored close to 1,000 students and presented nearly $400,000 in scholarships throughout 22 schools in the greater Fredericton area. Now, the funds that support the granting of these scholarships are raised through various fundraisers held throughout the year, designed and led again by the Kingswood Achievement Awards Organizing Committee. Kingswood Turnaround Achievement Awards is a registered Canadian charity, as we'd heard earlier. All monies awarded by scholarships will be paid to the student's institution of choice in their name, pending confirmation of acceptance, to be used for tuition, living costs, or other educational expenses incurred through the institution. Any overage, unused fees, or cancellation of student status will see that portion of the funds returned to the Kingswood Turnaround Achievement Awards or to the scholarship donor. Now, our local NHL player, Jake Allen, goaltender to the St. Louis Blues, has established a fundraiser called Program 34 for local charities. He has become a major supporter of the Kingswood Turnaround Achievement Award. That again goes back to the relationship building ability of this guy over here. And last year contributed $15,000, and the year before that was pretty well double that amount. And here to share his story, we have a video for you. So sit back and take a look at Jake's video.
Hi, this is Jake Allen here. On behalf of my fiance Shannon and I, we'd like to congratulate all the students this evening for the incredible effort you have made in your life to receive the Kingswood Turnaround Achievement Award. Effort, commitment, perseverance can help lead you to great rewards in your life. Now that you're at this stage in life, the choices you make will be very, very important. Remember to dream big and don't underestimate your ability. Program 34 is a proud supporter of the Kingswood Turnaround Achievement Awards and many great charities in the Fredericton area. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Jake. And now we continue the exciting part of this evening's ceremony with the presentation of individual scholarships to some of tonight's graduating recipients. These scholarships are funded through the support of individuals as well as corporate and institutional partners in our program. The Nashwaaksis Lions Club Scholarship, in the value of $1,000 and in its 6th year of being offered, will be presented by Lions Art McFadden, President, and Richard Buchanan, Chairman of the Assistance Committee, to Emily Dara of Leo Hayes High School, who will be studying psychology or law. So Emily, we loved your story. Congratulations on this. Come on up and receive your scholarship from the Nashwaaksis Lions Club. Congratulations, Emma Dara. Pepsi, a longtime supporter to this program and the provider of beverages at tonight's event, is donating a $1,000 scholarship, which will be presented by Sarah Lightbody. Sarah, you've probably been as regular as much as I have been at these award ceremonies. Good to have you back. This scholarship is awarded to Wyatt Fanjoy. Sorry, Wyatt, you're already all the way at the back. And again, as we've just heard, Wyatt is from the Enterprise Center, Fredericton High, and he is planning on continuing his education next year. Wyatt, a really moving story. Thank you very much for being here tonight. Our next scholarship, donated by the Learning Bar, will be presented by Beth Fairbairn. Now, the Learning Bar is a research-based education company that provides tools and solutions designed to inform educators, guide school planning, and give a voice to students, parents, and teachers. This is the 6th year that the Learning Bar has been a partner in our program, and valued at $1,000, this scholarship is awarded to Adam Smith of Leo Hayes High School, who will be working towards a course in carpentry at MBCC Woodstock. The New Brunswick Society of Retired Teachers Central Branch Scholarship, valued at, again, $1,000 and presented by Mary Jo McIntosh, goes to Caitlin Needham of the Fredericton Enterprise Center. Caitlin, we are so glad to hear that you're going to be attending NBCC and focusing on youth care addiction. The Retired Teachers Group has been supporting our program for 14 years, and we're very appreciative of their continued focus on our youth. The next 2 scholarships are awarded by the New Brunswick Community College, NBCC. NBCC provides post-secondary education on 6 campuses across New Brunswick in more than 90 programs. This is NBCC's 9th year as a partner in our program, and each scholarship presented tonight is in the amount of $1,000 and will be presented by Tom Meads of the NBCC Fredericton campus. Thank you, Tom. The NBCC Fredericton Campus Scholarship is awarded to Zachary Northrup, Enterprise Center, Fredericton High. As we heard, Zach is going to be attending NBCC's trades program studying heavy equipment operation. Congratulations, Zach. And the second scholarship to NBCC is awarded to Joseph Breen of Leo Hayes High, who will be attending NBCC. And Joe will be attending NBCC to complete the welding program. So congratulations, Joe. Loved your story too. The next scholarship is from Brent Buchanan, valued at $500. Brent has been a long-time supporter of the Kingswood Turnaround Achievement Awards. Gary DePaulo will present on behalf of Skid Row Promotions to Brandy Richard of Minto Memorial High School. Brady. What did I say, Brandy? Brady. Sorry, Brady. Now, Brady was unable to attend this evening, so our chairman, Gary DePaulo, will present this award to Brady and his family at Minto High School at a later date. Thank you, Gary. In June of 2016, the Kingswood family tragically lost a beautiful person, Jennifer Brewer. Jen was known for her kindness, her beautiful smile, and positive disposition. She touched many lives, and for that, we are left with beautiful memories. While we are saddened by our loss, we know that Jen would be honored that Kingswood is donating an annual $1,000 scholarship in her memory to the Kingswood Turnaround Achievement Awards. The Jen Brewer Memorial of $1,000, presented by Alex Trask, is being awarded to Lee Gallant of Fredericton High School. And Lee will be furthering her education at university next year. And we're hoping that, yeah, you're going to make an amazing lawyer. The University of New Brunswick Scholarship, two in fact, valued at $2,500 each, will be presented tonight by Victoria Spark, Director of Undergraduate Awards. UNB offers undergraduate and graduate degrees in more than 60 disciplines and continuing education in a variety of fields. This is UNB's 13th year as a partner of this program. Thank you so much. I know Eddie Campbell's here. I'm not sure if the incoming president's still here, but thank you so much. And again, receiving the first UNB scholarship of $2,500 and enrolled in the kinesiology department is Skylar Lowenberg of Fredericton High School. Still think you belong on the cover of GQ magazine. The second UNB scholarship is awarded to Braden Colford of Central New Brunswick Academy, who was enrolled in the engineering program this fall. The St. Thomas University Scholarship in the amount of $2,000 being presented by Michelle Chisholm, Admissions Counselor. STU, a small and primarily undergraduate university, is dedicated to liberal arts education. This is St. Thomas' 13th year as a partner in the Kingswood Turnaround Achievement Awards. This scholarship will be awarded to Tatiana Cote of Warmuckta High School. Tatiana is enrolled in the Bachelor of Arts program at STU. The Jake Allen Scholarship, valued at $2,000, is being presented by Marty Forsyth Marty is a member of the Turnaround Achievement Awards Committee and also a member of the Jake Allen Charity Golf Classic. We have 2 students sharing this award, so they will each receive $1,000. The first recipient is Emma Murray of Central New Brunswick Academy. Emma plans to study at NBCC to become a personal support worker. I love the theme that's carrying here. People paying forward, the things that they've kind of experienced. I like that story theme. Our second winner of $1,000 is Eric Trottier of Harvey High School. Eric's planning on taking a bit of time before deciding his plans for post-secondary education. The good thing about our scholarships is that we make them available for a later date. We are pleased to announce Alex Dingwall, former superintendent of School District 25, who we've heard from earlier, is announcing a $500 scholarship. The recipient is Tyler Sherwood of Cambridge Narrows Community School. And as we heard, Tyler will be joining the military in the fall. We're fortunate to have Alex here tonight for the presentation of this award. And again, Tyler, I will steal a phrase from earlier. We thank you for your future service to this country. We are very pleased to announce our newest scholarship from last year. The law firm of Elliott McRae Hill will increase their scholarship from $1,000 to $2,000 this year. Thank you so much for doing that. The recipient is Julia Wright of Minto Memorial High School. And if we could bottle your enthusiasm, we need to learn how to bottle your enthusiasm, Julia. Julia will be attending UNB to study science and making the presentation with Scott Beliveau, a partner at Elliott McRae Hill. Our last scholarship is presented in the memory of Nick Plimmer, who worked tirelessly with at-risk students in District 17 and 18. This program was very near and dear to his heart, as you can well imagine. In past years, we've been privileged to have his wife Janice present this scholarship. Sadly, she's unavailable this year. In her stead, again, I would call upon Gary DiPaolo to present the scholarship in the amount of $2,000 to Emma Gallant of Chipman Forest Avenue School. And Emma will be pursuing her career as a hairstylist. Well, surprise, surprise. You are beautiful. You do a wonderful job with your makeup. Maybe next year you could, if I'm asked to be back again, we'll have Emma come and do my makeup and my hair before I MC. So this concludes our scholarship presentation. In total this evening, 15 graduating students are eligible for $36,000 to further their dreams. Hear, hear. We thank very sincerely the following scholarship partners in this program: NBCC, St. Thomas University, and the University of New Brunswick, Atlantic Business College, the Learning Bar, Central Branch of Retired Teachers, the Nashwaaksis Lions Club, Crandall University, the Jen Brewer family, Skid Row Promotions, Elliott McRae Hill, Program 34, that's Jake Allen's program, the Nick Plimmer family, Pepsi, Eastern College, Mount A, Alex Dingwall. We would also like to thank the following, who are also an integral part of this evening's program: Signature Sounds, Freeman Audio Visual, Taylor Printing, Keith Minchin, Crown Plaza, and Pepsi. This round of applause is for all of those just mentioned. So as we've heard throughout the night, and I could say it forever and ever and a day, this program could not continue without the support of one individual by the name of Brian Johnson of Kingswood. And Denise, too. Wife, he's given you like 3 shout-outs. He must have been a bad boy this week. He's given you 3 shout-outs tonight. But for him, as we've heard from like Alex and others, it's an opportunity to make a difference in the community. It's not about him. He's the most humble person, doesn't want to get up on stage, doesn't want the recognition. But it's an opportunity to make a difference in the community and the lives of young people. That's why he's being recognized again in a couple of weeks. And we've recognized that here tonight. Now, what a legacy. I just can go on, but I know we're getting late in the evening. On behalf of everyone here tonight, though, a very, very sincere thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and congratulations on the upcoming philanthropy. I said it twice earlier tonight, can't get it tonight. Philanthropy in Action Award. So congratulations. Now, at this point in the night, and this is, again, one of my favorite, and there are lots of favorites, but this is one of my favorites, we're going to give our students time to form a receiving line over here. And then I'd ask that you please take a moment and offer words of encouragement and congratulate them on their achievements. And we all hope that they continue on that path to success. And photos and video of tonight's ceremony can be found at www.kingswoodpark.ca under Turnaround Achievement Awards in the coming weeks. And in parting, I just would love to leave you with this quote. Sometimes I say it, sometimes I don't. Tonight I feel it's appropriate to end with it. And I think it will especially resonate with Skylar if Skylar is still in the audience. It's all about attitude. The longer I live, the more I realize the impact of attitude on life. Attitude, to me, is more important than facts. It's more important than the past, than education, than money, than circumstances, than failures, than successes, than what other people think or say or do. It's more important than appearance, giftedness, or skill. It will make or break a company, a church, a home. The remarkable thing is we have a choice every day regarding the attitude we will embrace for that day. We cannot change the inevitable. The only thing we can do is play on the one string we have, and that is our attitude. I'm convinced that life is 10% what happens to me and 90% how I react to it. And so it is with you. We are in charge of our attitudes. Isn't that great? We hope everyone has enjoyed our ceremony tonight. I wish you all the very best moving forward, especially the ones who among you are supporting our students moving forward. And to steal a word from Ellen DeGeneres, be kind to one another. Everyone, have a wonderful evening, drive safely, and we hope to have you back here again with us next year. Thank you.